Yo, hold up, Chase. We're gonna have one person on Discord. Oh my God, Chase finally held something up. All right, welcome to episode 221 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week once again, we have Steven.
I'm back.
And we have Chase, our little birthday boy.
Hello.
Which, actually, that was yesterday, but, you know, close enough. Whatever. So,
technically, it's today for us. It's his birthday. For him, it's over.
Ah, okay, so he's in time travel mode.
Yesterday.
I was just like, oh shit, yesterday is today. I mean, I gotta wish him.
That's what confused me. I was like, oh, wait, he's in a different... That had to get weird. Like, technically, your family's like, oh, no, we're not doing your birthday until tomorrow.
Because I double-checked. I looked at his Facebook, and it's like, birthday's tomorrow. I'm like, that means it's now.
I have to know, like, any of your friends or family, like, did they message you today? Or did they message you yesterday?
So they messaged me both. So they messaged me, they'll say, like, happy birthday, like, happy New Zealand birthday, then a happy birthday.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because one of our friends was like, happy belated birthday, Chase. And I was like, it's not belated. You're fine.
Oh, man. Yeah, we've got an interesting show this week, mostly talking about some more Sony announcements, some stuff coming up, some speculation, a brand new segment that Steven wanted to start that we're actually going to use today, but for the saddest of reasons. And then Chase will be talking an ungodly amount of Warhammer stuff and guiding us through this just massive news for that.
For the Emperor.
Yeah, and of course, you know, Nintendo, of course, released the most random ass thing they could, and we'll talk about that. But before we get into that, let's jump into
Direct.
No, of course not. Why would they announce a Direct?
Not that random thing.
Not that
time yet.
Just a random cell phone game. Before we get into that, let's talk about what we've been doing. Chase, since it was your and is your birthday, we'll start with you. What you been doing, my friend?
So for me, birthday's been good. Had a really lovely day yesterday with Shanoa. Went out for good dinner and stuff, but
nice.
I've been leading up to that. I've been playing some more Total War Shogun 2. I finished my second campaign, and I started a third with a different faction. But then I've also been playing other stuff. I've been playing
nice.
Donkey Kong Country Returns HD and Hollow Knight. Been getting back into that. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Oh my god, such a phenomenal game though. Donkey Kong Country, I think we talked about that last week. Like I've never not enjoyed one. And so this one just doesn't disappoint. The thing that I kind of forgot about actually, because this was on the Wii. And then
the Wii, then the 3DS or later on.
Yeah, so coming to this one, the thing I forgot about, which I actually thought was really cool, was the art style, and especially there's certain levels where like the sun's setting, and so then everything's blacked out except DK's tie and like Diddy's vest and hat, and so like they're just like bright red, and I was like, oh man, I forgot all about this. This is really cool. Like,
yeah, that
clever
game. Yeah, it had such a fun visual style to it. Like they really had fun with it. Because that was Retro Studios that made that.
Yep. And then same people that made Tropical Freeze as well, I think, right?
Yes.
They're kind of the people. They're kind of the Donkey Kong Country people.
Now with Funky Kong. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely looking forward to, hopefully at some point I'm looking forward to them maybe making another one, because they never disappoint. Hollow Knight, I played that. Reason I played that is because I wanted to test something, which I'll talk about in the pickups. And I like the game. It's a gorgeous game, but man, sometimes that game can be frustrating.
Sometimes
that game can be really frustrating.
That's not a bug, it's a feature, my friend.
Because you're right, but it's just, man, that game can be frustrating sometimes. Like, it's definitely one of those games where you're going to like retry something over and over and over until you get it right.
It's the Soulsvania.
By hook or by crook, you're gonna you just have
you
to
will
either
deal
get
with
really
it.
lucky, or you have to Just
I've
figure it out.
always said that one's like a Soulsvania, similar to like
Yeah.
Dead Cells and stuff, where it's like it's what you're familiar with, but it's harder.
Yeah, it's definitely harder, but I am enjoying it, and I do intend to complete it. But I just have to take that little chunks by little chunks, and just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, this is Hollow Knight. Not you haven't even gotten into Silksong yet. This is the first one, right?
This is the first one. I haven't touched Silksong, and I
It
need
gets
to do
harder.
that at some point.
Just so you know.
Oh, that's great. Great news.
Because I was like,
and then there's really good clones out there that play just like those.
They are still fantastic to play through, though. Like, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
If you want to relax though but cry, you can then go to Ori and Will of the Wisps. So,
which is also really good on there. So, yeah. All right. Steven, what about you?
I'm still doing my mobile game adventures, where I beat 2 of them, and I'm on 2 more right now. Because I beat one of them in Ohio, so I got the money from that, and I'll show you the spoils from my mobile game adventures. But right now I'm playing through one that is a merge game, which is already horrible because all the ads are so fake.
Ugh.
That's not how the game plays at all. That's not even the story of the game. They like make up the story on the spot. And then the other one is because he's public domain, is like a solitaire game with Popeye, but Popeye is just a static image in the background.
Has Popeye made it to? I thought he didn't go to public domain till later.
Well, he was in another game that's one of like the worst games on the eShop as well, because people can use Popeye however they want. And they made a horror movie with him called The Sailor Man, so he's public domain.
Yeah, his first appearance.
You can always tell because once a horror movie's made with a beloved character, you know it's public domain. But what's weird about this one is usually it tells you to get this $75 what you have to do. Get to level 30, beat level 300. I had to do that for one of them. And then this one says get up to crop 40. And I was like, I have no idea what that means because they never mention it in the game. So I had to look on a Reddit post, and they're like, oh, crop 40 means you have to beat 867 levels. And I was like, excuse me? I might not get this one.
Oh my God, Chase, he does have a limit.
I was just like, I got games to play now. Such as
so we've been trying to tell you, man.
ZZZ, where I just logged in just once because the other games were taking up my time. But I had to make sure to download the new update because even PlayStation was reminding me.
And give them money?
I didn't give them money yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shocking.
I will shortly. Yes, sorry. I got my Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. I started playing from the beginning with Chris. That game is definitely, they made sure to even make the story work with co-op, where it's not just shoehorned in. There's always a second character around you that can either drop in or drop out, which is nice. Had a weird thing with HDR that once I had a quick brownout in my house, that when it came back on, it looked better because the HDR was off and it didn't have the same darkness. No matter how much I put all the brightness up, I was like, why is this so dark in this game particularly? No matter what I did. But other than that, I've enjoyed it. I finally got to the part where I am Batman. I was waiting to get to that spot. There is stuff that you can unlock, and there is Lego sets. If you want gold versions of Batman, you have to buy. And they even give you a specific suit if you have HBO Max. So I was just like, wow, they're giving out suits for everything.
Yeah, I was not happy about finding that one because we don't have our HBO anymore. And I was like, oh, cool. Even though I bought this big edition of it, I don't get that suit unless I pay them this other monthly fee. And I was like, I know Warner Brothers does that, but I've had a very bad experience starting off with Lego Batman, which is not good.
But so far it's good. I do like the combat because some of the moves and counters are very hilarious. They're very varied. So Chris and I are enjoying it right now. I don't know what we're going to be doing next because we just got the vehicle. And then, of course, I'm still doing my Tomodachi Life, my dailies when I can fit it in. I just added Billy Mays to the town. I made sure he talks extremely fast. I think next I'm going to be adding.
Has
Jackie
he sold you
Chan.
anything yet?
No, but he wanted to be friends with somebody, so I made him be friends with RoboCop, and they talked about Judgment Day. Seems to be a
theme,
a good theme. So, RoboCop makes a lot of friends talking about Judgment Day.
There you go.
I played more Pragmata, which involved me going. Once I got a certain ability, me going completionist on only the first 2 areas, looking everywhere for every single item and box they had. So I was looking everywhere, doing everything, and I was like, okay, this is here, this is there.
I think I know which ability you're talking about.
Yeah, that was a lot.
It's handy.
Because of that ability, I've seen some really funny fan art where she bites into a Nintendo Switch cartridge and then she puckers up because it's disgusting.
God, you need to put that on the Discord. I haven't seen that.
And then I also, off of TikTok, I got this recommendation for a cozy game, and then I looked it up and I was like, what, you're $5? So I bought Librarian, Tidy Up the Arcane Library, and it's literally just like that scene from Fantasia where it's just like, I don't want to do the work, so I'll have magic do the work, but you're just putting away books where they need to go, and the books can be about everything from like romance novels that have some of the weirdest names to like magic books or potion books, alchemy. And in the beginning it's very cumbersome. It's just one at a time book, but eventually you start getting the skills to pay the bills, and you can like just summon books into your hand that are all, and then you can just press another button and they're in order. So you can throw them all on the shelf automatically. Otherwise you do have to meticulously put each book there. Thankfully there's nothing else bothering you. I turned on cozy mode because I was like, I don't want a timer saying how long you're taking to put away all the books. But the story is that if you put away all the books properly, you'll get the best tasting pizza in the world. So I was like, cool, that's New York. I was like, all right. And then lastly, I went to a trip to Ohio for my brother-in-law's 40th birthday, where he got surprised multiple times by people he didn't know were going to showed up. Then I had to listen to them talk about Final Fantasy 14, which I was like, I don't know anything. And then they went into a deep Warhammer 40K discussion, and I was like, I don't know anything.
Yeah, you need to like put a headset on and either call my kids so you can talk Final Fantasy 14, and then have Chase on the other part of the call, like bring in a group chat.
And then I had to listen to, because they're all PC players, I had to listen to how anti-physical they all are, and I was just like,
oh no, fuck
this
that.
is the weirdest bunch of conversations I've ever had to listen to.
That one hurt you. I know it did.
Yeah, it did. I had to chime in like, hey, wait a minute. And then they have a supermarket / Target there called Meijer, which caused me to get some pickups, which I'll share later.
Okay, cool. All right, so I will jump into mine, and today specifically was new TV day. My Samsung TV that I've had for a while, the left side of the screen started going dark, and we talked about this before. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to upgrade the TV. And so I figured it's either the LED panel in the back or it's the control board. And then I got home from working out of town last night, and the right side of the screen had gone dark while the left was working fine. And then it would kind of flash every so often. And I was like, okay, that's got to be the control board. But it got worse. And it's like, I think it knew I bought the new TV and had to pick it up today, because it's like, well, fine, screw you. I'm going to die now. So it did that through the finale of The Boys, which I will have to say, for the actual season and series finale, they landed it. They actually pulled it off. And it was a satisfactory ending. Like, wow. Well done.
That's not what the rest of the fans are saying, but okay.
Well, I've read the books and I know how this is, and I thought it was a good ending. There's no way, they even joked about it, there's no way they could get everything. There's going to be some loose ends. There's other shows that are coming out that I'm sure things will tie into, but this story itself of this group and how it goes, I thought ended well. So if everybody else doesn't like it, I don't give a shit. I'm happy. So
yeah, Chase remembers my old TV, my Samsung, the one dead pixel.
Yeah, Swan would get so mad when everybody like brought that up too.
But the reason I had to replace mine and I didn't take it with me when I moved was mine just kept getting darker and darker, and then I would buy the bulb from eBay usually because they're the only ones that had the bulb. Spend like $80, $90, install the bulb, and everything would be like cool right off the showroom floor again. And then it would just suck the living life out of the bulb again, and it would get dark again. So finally, I just put it on the curb, and I was just like free. And they're like, "Does it work?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's just dark. It needs a new bulb." And they're like, "Cool." And they took it. And I'm like, "Thank you." It was a digital light projection TV, which has all those
the
little mirrors that turn to make it nice. And I loved it, but yeah, it had to go finally.
I've always wanted to mess with one of those. I would probably end up taking it apart to tinker with it, but yeah, I just.
But yeah, it even had the warning like if you touch this bulb even a little bit, the grease from your hands will decrease its life. And I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah, no, you wear gloves. But I ended up so the TV I went with, I was going to get another Samsung. I was looking at their mini LED, at a couple different ones, and I'd kind of chosen, I stick with the 55 inch because that is exactly the space I have room for where the TV is right now. And my sitting distance, that's plenty big. I don't need to be any larger of a screen. I have to start looking left and right, and you never want to do that. You want to sit comfortably and see the whole screen. And my friend Jason DeApril that I talked to, he used to do like tech reviews and stuff like that, and still does on occasion for writing. He recommended I get an LG OLED, a very specific one, the LG B5 55 inch, and he convinced me. So I've finally, for the first time in a long time, do not have a Samsung TV. I have an LG. I bought the 55 inch B5, set it up today. The black levels are ridiculous because that's the first time I've ever had an OLED. I need to tweak the colors because they seem kind of dim, but a few other people, I know I have to do more of the settings, and even Chase told me like
there's a lot.
It's gonna pop.
I had the C3 and there's game optimizers, there's movie mode, and I think I went with film mode, but then it's changed for the user because a lot of things were like game optimizers too much, and sometimes the TV yells at me because it's like, this is really bright. I'm like, it's switch. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change how I have some of the stuff set because like the HDMI switch that I have right now won't pass through for me to use the 120 hertz mode, as well as some of the, like I can use HDR10 to 10 plus, but I can't do Dolby Vision, which I'd like to actually have access to.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to directly hook up my Xbox and maybe even my PlayStation. I really want to hook up my RetroTink 4K to it because now I have the option for what's called black frame insertion, where it will, have a frame of the video, have a black frame, and then another frame of the video. And what that does is it smooths out motion on older games. So you don't get that flicker as much. It makes it more feel CRT and get that kind of smoothness to it.
As long as it's not that true motion stuff, turn it.
No. It's not true motion. This is a whole different thing. It's just inserting that black frame. It's almost like watching a movie where you get the flicker because you get that movement, and it kind of helps with that a lot. So that's a big one I wanted to do. I had to change how my soundbar's hooked up, so I'm now trying eARC with the HDMI port. I'm going to see if I can move back to my fiber optic one because I like how that worked, but I want it just to do a pass-through because the TV doesn't support like DTS and some of the stuff.
Yeah,
which I don't care. Just send it along.
You'll be tinkering for a while, but once you get it set, you'll be happy.
Yeah. But I mean, from the get-go, it seems like really nice. The remote is weird. It's like a Wii remote. Like you try and do something and it makes you do a pointer, and I'm like, please stop this. Let me just hit the buttons.
If you press the button, the pointer will go away.
Yeah, if you press any of the D-pad stuff, the pointer goes away instantly. Because
you don't have a scroll wheel though, and as soon as I hit the scroll wheel, it makes it come back. And I'm
no, I have that in the middle.
Oh, okay. Yours is in
the
middle
of the D-pad.
Yeah,
but my cats go crazy, and I'm like, left, right. There's nothing to look at, kids.
So I'm sure it's gonna get better, and I know I have to configure it. Yeah, I've never had to set up an OLED like this before, so it's gonna take time to figure that out.
This is my second one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Too.
My first one was technically a PlayStation Vita. What were you gonna say, Steven?
But yeah, if you have Netflix actually has a few things that test your sound perfectly There's like audio tests on the Netflix app for some reason that when you bring them up, they'll go through all the different settings to test all your speakers or to test like your subwoofer level and stuff like that to set it up. And then
I have a set of movies that I like to play or play parts of to test my audio. And then I still go back, at least for 5.1, I still go back to the Halo 2 sound test on the special edition, which has a little grunt running around talking about the different channels and then the big thing in the back doing the bass. And it's
then,
an
like
oldie
that guy
but
we
goodie.
talked about, the HDTV test guy, he'll also be like, hey, this is a really good game to test with it because it'll give you like, it'll push the TV to its limits. So you'll know like if you have it set for that.
I know the sound for Forza Horizon 6 because I've been playing that a lot. Is so good. They have so many ambient sounds and surround sound and touches for it. But I've been playing that since the day it came out as the early option. I paid the $120. I got the fancy edition. I don't give a shit. This is my game. I always get. And I have, before it even launched for everybody else, I think I had almost all the roads. I found out I can't get all of them at the start because there is one island that is blocked off until you finish all the wristbands through the story. You cannot enter that island whatsoever, and it's got a whole set of roads on it that I can't get to. But I think I've got all the other ones done pretty much. Great selection of cars. I did get all of the bonus cars because it does recognize all of the previous Forzas. So for every Forza Horizon I've played that it has a save for, or it's listed on my account, I get a car for that. I get one for playing Motorsport. And it's a pretty good selection of cars. I got like 7 or 8 of them from that alone. Plus the car packs with the deluxe edition and some of the other ones. So I'm already off to the races with stupidly good cars for fun. But I need to hopefully play with you on that one, Chase, at some point so we can actually connect. I found out my son bought it for his computer so we can play with him as well. But the other thing I've been playing this on, and we've talked about this before, the Legion Go, my handheld, they finally got the Xbox full screen experience, which thank you, Stephen, for correcting my faux pas of not having Xbox in all caps. I will turn in my Xbox card later. I think I actually have an Xbox card from back in the day somewhere in this house. If you guys remember that with your gamer tag.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think I have it somewhere. But they finally got it kind of fully implemented, and it's not perfect yet. I have a little bit of trouble when I first turn the computer on trying to sign in with a controller. Sometimes it recognizes it and I can do the button combinations and they're just fine. Sometimes it wants me to use the touch screen and I can't because it's hooked up to a dock on a TV. But when it does work, it is now much closer to an actual console use, which is great. So while I was traveling this week, I was playing Forza Horizon 6. Yeah, see the categories. I was playing Forza Horizon 6 on my Legion Go, and it plays great. Like, that game scales so damn well. I'm getting good frame rate. It looks great. Controls well. Docked in my room. I'm playing on it's a 1080p TV. Once I fix my old Samsung, that'll go in there and it's a 4K, but it looks good on that and I can still play it. I think it actually looks better than it does on the Series S, which is kind of sad. Because I have a Series S in there, but it just plays better on my Legion Go, so whatever. But it's nice to see that they're kind of implementing that a lot better now for us to be able to use. Because, Chase, you were originally thinking about getting like a Windows handheld of some sort, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about it. I'm debating between that or waiting for the Steam Deck too. I'm not sure yet which one I'd rather have.
That's fair. Like I said, I got the Legion Go a while back, and I like my Steam Deck. It's great, but I like being able to play my Xbox and other titles. And
yeah,
it's just
why I'm thinking about going with the Windows route, but I'm not sure yet.
Because we've talked about this before. My biggest hesitation was like, yeah, the Legion Go, I could play more games because there's no limit on what I can play from my Steam library. It doesn't have to be set up for Linux or anything. I can play stuff from Epic or GOG or just load it up on Windows for older games and play it. But the interface sucked. Like it was just so much harder to get into the game. And I feel that has finally been fixed for like 95% of the way. They just sort out how to boot into it a little bit easier, and I think I'd be good to start traveling with it more.
Yeah, I think you'd be good to wait, Chase, because with all the crap happening right now,
they're
and
expensive.
then the fact, like, I upgraded my Flip from the Flip 4 to the Flip 7, and by now they've figured out like the folding screen's a little bit better, so now I'm not having the same issues I did with the older one.
Oh, nice.
So it's the same thing with those window-based portables, because some of them melted memory cards. Some of them had issues that they had to fix it.
Yeah, thankfully the Legion Go did not. That was good. It's not perfect, but there's some good ones on that.
Asus was the one that melted
the ROG Ally. Yeah,
but I think they kind of fixed that with their with the Xbox edition.
Yeah, they fixed it with a few of them, but he's not wrong.
I think those are going to probably go on sale soon when the new ones get announced down the line.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is because of all the other issues, those have been delayed. Like a lot of companies are either delaying them or they have jumped the cost a lot. Like, so we'll see. But I'm at least happy that has kind of fixed itself a bit. So I can use my Legion Go. It's become like my PC gaming in my bedroom now. So I can sit in there and play some games reasonably, which is fun. And now that I've taken it with me on a work trip and I was able to play games there without a bunch of fuss, that makes me happy. So I did start some of the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for Switch 2. I've only played through the first few areas, but I'm still really impressed with how well it translates and plays on there. I played it before on PC, and now I'm getting to play it again on there. And it's just fantastic. And once again, Steven, you're talking about that argument of why they want digital only. This is an argument in the other way. Like, this is the only true physical copy of this game. Get it there so you have it. And there's your cat's butt. We've seen it now. Oh, cats are amazing.
Get off my Christian Minecraft server. Okay.
Oh, Lord. I did play a little bit of Lego Batman just before the show. I was kind of late getting my copy, and I have had, which is probably some weird thing, but like the worst startup for this. I posted on our Discord, but like, so this isn't spoiling anything. The very beginning of the game when it starts, you're little Bruce Wayne. They're getting ready to go see the movie, and he's running down like, I got to go get my costume and we'll play. And as soon as it booted into the actual game after that cutscene, I'm under the ground, and like you can see where the grass and stuff is above my head, and it's see-through for parts of it, and I'm stuck down there. I can interact with things, but I can't jump high enough to get out of it. And it saved my game under there, so every time I try and restart it, it puts me back down there. And I managed to walk over to where the Batcave would be eventually and fall down that, and you fall for quite a while, and then it respawned me back up where the cave is, and I fall again, and I'm like kind of worried I'm
going in a second player to see if that helps.
I haven't tried that yet. I have to find a second controller in here. I think my other one's on my PC.
We had one issue on one of the levels where I triggered a cutscene just as Chris was, I think, dying.
Oh no.
And when he came back, he was invisible. You could tell where he was because he could still punch people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But and in cutscenes he was there because cutscenes are pre-rendered. But whenever we were in the game, he was invisible until the next level. So I was like, that's new.
Are you guys playing on Xbox as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just kind of shocked at like how broken that was. And I'm really excited to play this one, and I wanted to use it to test my OLED because I thought there would be really dark scenes and bright scenes and play with the color.
Oh my god, even the non-Batman Easter eggs in this game. Holy crap.
I can't wait. I'm going to have fun with this. And I know this is just one of those weird glitches. It's just like, it's ironic. This is the very first experience I get with it. It's completely borked. And I put the videos on the Discord because it is hilarious.
Like, I won't give it away, but there is Easter eggs for American Psycho. As well
that makes sense because
as well as It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So I was like, what?
That is probably tied to the Penguin because that's Danny DeVito. Yeah.
So I was just like, wow. But I just can't wait to get to Bane because I really want to hear Matt Berry. So
I did see the fact that not even fighting him, but apparently he keeps prank calling the Batcave. So that's something to keep listening to. So I'm looking forward to that. Last thing, and I'll either try and delete my game save and start it over, or if I have to, I'll uninstall and
you're not that
reinstall.
far in, obviously, at all.
Yeah, I haven't made it anywhere. It was just kind of funny. But I also this week recorded the episode of Play Comics Podcast with the host Chris Osborne, which is also known as Waffles, over on our Discord. Had a lot of fun doing that. We talked about the what was it, the 2006 movie TMNT, as well as the video game adaptations, which he pretty much said I'm a crazy person for buying almost every version of it. He was just like, why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I just decided to get them. So I've got most of them now. I'm looking for like two other weird. I'm looking for the Game Boy Advance and the Xbox 360 and the Wii copy, and I'll have every version of TMNT because why not? It's fun.
Game Boy Advance one is great because that one plays like a beat 'em up.
Yeah, that's what I was really curious about. I wish I could play it emulated, but I kind of just want to get the cartridge. It seems fun.
Yeah, it is.
But I have it on DS. I got it on PSP. I have it on the PS2, the GameCube. And it's funny because I bought it on PS2 and I was like, oh man, it plays well, but it only plays in interlace. So while it works for the RetroTink, it has that jittery look to it. I was like, well, I'll fix my GameCube so then I can play it in progressive scan because obviously the GameCube can do that. Rebuilt my GameCube, fixed it, started to play the game, realized it only plays in 480i anyways, and it actually looks worse than the PS2 version. So I went back. But hey, my GameCube's fixed, whatever. But it was a lot of fun. I don't know when the show goes live, but keep an eye out for it. Like I said, it's the Play Comics Podcast. I'm sure it's a lot of fun to do. He got kind of not so much annoyed, but surprised when he asked, like, did you listen to episodes beforehand? And I went, nope. He's like, wait, why? I was like, well, I'd like to go in guesting on the show, not knowing what you're doing, so I can experience it and have fun with it as we're doing it. And like one of the questions he apparently asks every show, I had no idea about because of that. And it kind of made it more fun for me to think of the answer off the top of my head and enjoy it. So I'm going to go back now, and I've started listening to them. But yeah, give it a shot. He's a lot of fun. Good guy to talk to. And eventually, if there's subjects that you guys want to talk about, he'd love to have you on too. All right, we've talked about that for a little bit, so let's go over to the group chat so we can talk about some more stuff. All right, Chase, you have pickups for once. So let's start with you because that's just new.
Hey, well, so to start with, for my birthday present, so Shanoa got me Forza Horizon 6 physically, and then I just spent the extra, I think, what is it over here in New Zealand, $100 to get the premium upgrade, so that way I got like the upgrade cars and stuff.
Nice.
And whatnot, and then she also got me Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, which I talked about earlier. I'm really enjoying it. How I'm playing this and how I'm playing Hollow Knight is because my Shanoa, sweetheart she is, got me a Switch 2 for my birthday.
He's caught up with modern technology.
Yes, I'm finally in the Switch 2 club with everyone, and just eventually we'll have to get her into the Switch 2 club fully. Although what's kind of nice is those with like the game share and stuff, like we can still play some stuff co-op together, which will be
game chat. In game chat, you can have two people in the same room go online because it'll ask to for you to highlight two people on the camera. So it's nice.
Well, yeah. So because we got the camera as well, she got me that.
Oh, nice.
And
yeah, it is a fun camera.
She's currently playing Tears of the Kingdom on it right now because I got the Switch 2 upgrade pack because I wanted her to test it since she's played like 90 hours of Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 1. So I might give her what she thinks in the next week. Yeah, I'll get to it. Just hang on a second. She's over here telling me
she's not being bossy at all.
No, she's not. It's not like her at all. And then she also did pre-order Star Fox for me, so I'll have that in June.
Ooh, yay!
So we'll have a fur party on game chat.
I call Slippy.
That's fine, as long as I could either be Fox or Wolf. That's usually all I care about.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm so far my initial thoughts on it is, oh my god, it's way more comfortable to hold than the Switch One. Like, it's just bigger. It just fits my hands better. It's definitely a lot bigger. Like, even when I pulled it out of the box, I'm like, oh, that's a difference. Like, it's just different. Like, it's just bigger. And like, it's way more comfortable to hold because I actually played handheld for a while just to test that out with Donkey Kong Country. It definitely looks better. Like, you could definitely see there's definitely makes a difference. Like, there's definitely a difference to be seen in that.
Yeah, some of the old games you'll see there's certain ones that are highly more playable now. Like all the Bayonetta games play really well on it now.
Yeah. Two things I would recommend if you're playing it in handheld. Whenever you're playing it, I like to flip the stand out and I'll rest it on these two fingers so I can just hold it like this and it just rests comfortably. And you're not sitting there having to hold it all awkward. It takes a lot of the weight off. You can just play. So that's fun.
I like the stand.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Massive upgrade.
The second thing is you need to make sure when you're playing like Donkey Kong Country Returns and all that, well, that one has a Switch 2 upgrade, but other older titles to go on and turn the boost mode on, because then it plays them. It runs the battery a little bit faster, but it plays it in docked mode on the Switch 2 handheld. So you actually use the 1080p display, you get better graphics and it can run better. And it's a vary between games. Sometimes they run better in one way or the other, but you can turn it on and off whenever you want, which is nice.
Yeah. The other thing she also got me was a Pro controller. She got me a Switch 2 Pro controller as well, so I do have that.
Oh, you're going to be spoiled.
Oh yeah,
it feels so good.
It's definitely up there with one of the better controllers that I've held.
Yeah, when you play some of the games that have Rumble, specifically for Switch 2, it's like night and day, because like playing Resident Evil 9, at least for me, was when he's wading through water.
Yes.
Just the feeling of how they do the HD Rumble. I was just like, PlayStation can't do this. Neither can Xbox.
Yeah, because in Hollow Knight, you actually get it a little bit, because as you're walking through certain sections, it'll be raining, and your controller will just go like tick, 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 like all over.
And that's just the first version of it. Like the enhancements, I think Silksong does the enhanced one, the new one.
Yeah.
So it's even better.
So yeah, I was quite impressed just with that, because I didn't know if that was anything to do with the Switch 2 upgrade, if that changes anything or not. But yeah, I was quite impressed with that. Hollow Knight was a pretty impressive upgrade in itself. I mean, to be fair, it was an impressive looking game to begin with, but just it's definitely, you can definitely tell the upgrade. Everything's a little bit smoother. Everything just looks nicer. Like it is quite a good upgrade, especially for free. Like they could have, like, that was nice of them to just give it for free, because they could have charged for that easily. Overall, I'm really happy with it.
Charge you.
Overall, I'm really happy with it. I'm excited to get some co-op stuff in now, because I know you guys have been harping on me to get one, so we can look into that as well.
Well, I still have that. What was it? The Minecraft type farming Australia game. I can't remember what it's called, but I still have that.
It has a Switch 2 edition now too.
Dinkum.
Oh, good. Yeah, because I still have that. Bought it because we were going to play it.
Yeah, but yeah, Dinkum also has an upgrade, so you can download that, I think, for free.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just go on the shop and I'll type in upgrade and just look through all the ones that have upgrades. That for me was the biggest difference, which I'm sure you noticed, is that the eShop is not a slow piece of shit anymore.
No,
it's so functional now. Yeah,
everything's like great. I did have a play too, because I downloaded the GameCube. What do you call it? The
GameCube Nintendo Classics. Switch Online. Yeah,
Nintendo Switch Online thing. And surprisingly, of all the things that I've been playing the most on there, was one of the best games I actually forgot about, and it was Mario Smash Football. It's like one of the most fun games to play ever.
Don't forget to download Don't forget to download the N64 one, because then you can play Win Back, which is amazing.
Yeah, I've got the N64 one.
Okay.
Waiting for them to put Donkey Kong 64 on there.
I hope they would, but we're still waiting on that one. I know for the GameCube one, the first one I played all the way through was Chibi Robo. Like I played that entire title and it was so much fun. But yeah, glad to have you join us in our modern handheld technologies. So now we can, because that's the beauty. Even if we're just wanting to talk and we're not wanting to fight with Discord, if we're all playing on the Switch 2, we can be playing completely different things and sharing what we're playing and just talking. And that's a whole new aspect of it we can use now, which is going to be fun. Because that's...
I'll get to test out my Arctic headset more to see how that works.
Oh yeah, you did get that one. Nice. All right. Steven, what about you? What you got for pickups? I know you had your fun with your trip.
Yes. So there's some stuff I just got, which was Banishers, Ghosts of Eden, because they had a GameStop sale where it was like $15 and $35 games, so they had a bunch of those.
I've been curious about that title. Let me know what you think of it.
Yeah, I heard like interesting things, and I was just like, for $15 I'll bite.
I'll have to look and see if mine has.
Found out they had a physical of the game we've been playing, Ready or Not, so now I can play it on my Xbox as well. So I was like, cool. And the all the DLC was pretty cheap to just get, so I just got that off the
nice
internet. So of course my Lego Batman game with all the codes in there, but everything else is at least on disc. But other than that, I did get Toxic Commando because they had a sale on Woot, and I was just like, okay, that's the price I'll pay for Toxic Commando. And to have better and to have enhanced mode, I'm gonna have Switch 2 graphics now. And if you ever find yourself in Ohio or any place that has a store chain called Meijer, I implore all gamers to always check inside to see what they put on clearance.
Really?
This store decided to put some of the most random games on clearance, and I will show you what I got from them, which was surprising. So first I got Street Fighter 6 on Switch 2, another copy, because it was $15. So I was like, okay. I think Christian's buying this one for me, so he has it on Switch 2 on the go.
Yeah, I have that one digital. I never got it physical, but that's
and
cool.
Then also for $15 was Gears of War Reloaded, also on clearance there. And I was like, cool. And then lastly,
it's so cursed that there's no physical on Xbox. Anyways.
And then also $25. I was like, okay, a little bit more, but again, on clearance.
Reasonable.
Borderlands 4. So I was like, okay. So that was a really good deal.
Am I the only one that doesn't have that now? Because fuck, we're gonna have to go buy it.
No, I don't have it either, but I'll probably just get it on. I'll probably just get it on PC because I think it's crossplay anyway. But
I was just like $25,
things about it.
And they kept saying that you could take your characters from all the older games and keep moving it forward, which was helpful. But lastly, and I think Jeremy will hate this.
Oh boy!
I've been using my mobile game cashback to procure a certain set without actually coming out of my funds. It just comes out of my mobile funds. So I've got 2 new amiibo to add.
Oh, mother fluffer.
2 more are coming as well, also paid for by mobile games.
That's the Japanese ones, right?
And then I have to get the hardest one, which is one of the villains that's sitting on like a green dinosaur, and I'm like, oh boy.
The most expensive one I think is not even from the Monster Hunter. It's freaking Box Boy.
And there's rumors there because they saw a classification appear for Box Boy for Switch 2. So everybody's just like, hold off. They might reprint the amiibos, so fingers crossed.
I'd be fine with that.
So yeah, there's been a lot of good updates with those classifications because they said they rated that for Switch 2, and they also rated Devil May Cry 5 Demon Hunter Edition for Switch 2. And I was like, ooh, more content?
Okay. Nice. That was a good game.
But yeah, always check out a Meijer because you never know what they're going to clearance. And that was a surprise. I was just like, oh, they're going to have crap for games. And don't get me wrong, they had like 5 games for Switch 2, 4 games for Xbox, and 8 games for PS5. But I was like, what's with all the clearance? So I was like, cool.
Maybe they're getting out of gaming. I don't know.
No, they had a whole section set up and everything, but I was just like, "Ooh, I like how you guys do clearance."
It's nice. For me, it's pretty light for this week. Obviously, I have my Lego Batman, which we talked about earlier, which I paid for this edition so I could play it early, and then got sent off for work and worked through the entire opening early period and didn't get to even start it until today. And then that was funny because it basically broke when it started, which is kind of funny. So I'm hoping it'll fix itself when I go back and I don't have to do too much. But I'm super excited for this one. I'm going to be really annoying on the Discord. I'm going to tell you right now, because I'm going to be finding every reference, every little joke, posting and talking about it, because I am absolutely stupid with Batman stuff. Like, I just love it. So this is going to be great. And of course, I also got Toxic Commando because Steven was like, hey, it's cheap, go buy it. And I was like, all right.
Fine.
Hey, I'm just yeah, whatever. But
I had to get the first copy again.
That's motherfucker. At least now you get to know this game has shadows, okay? And it's kind of funny, like
signs.
Right.
Well, at least now the zombies don't look like triangles.
Yeah.
I may eventually get this again on PC later on. I don't think the save carries over, but like when I played the demo, when we all played the beta or whatever, the demo of it on PC back in the a while back, it was a really good looking game. I have it on Series X now, and it's more convenient to play it there, but it was a bit of a visual downgrade with the settings of what they had. But for Steven, it's such a skyrocketing increase over what he sent.
Boost mode!
Yeah, so I'm taking a bit of a hit. He is going to the moon. Like, he is just... Yeah. He has like, textures.
Guys, look at all this stuff. Like, yeah, we already saw this already.
Blades of grass!
Once again, go back to our Discord. We compared screenshots of like what our game looked like on PC versus what he had, and it is so funny looking at the same thing. It looks like you're trying to run the game on a Raspberry Pi. Like, it was terrible. Oh, I'm shocked it even booted. But this will be one of our next games. We may start it tonight. I don't know. Or we might continue with Ready or Not like we've been playing and save this one. But it's definitely, we liked it. We know it is nonsense, and that's why we love it. So, yeah, whatever. It just seems like a fun game, and that's all we care about. And the fact that you even got Shinoa to get it. So it's the four of us once again moving on to another shooter is fantastic.
I think if one of us dies, though, we need to start the whole stage over.
This is a bit different.
We're not doing that again.
This is a bit different.
Oh, God. Yeah. No, we're not. We're definitely not doing that. All right. So our last little thing, we'll talk about our Ready or Not mayhem of what we did recently. We didn't play it too much last week because I think I was getting ready to go, but I don't know. We're still enjoying it. We've still got... Actually, we didn't play it all last week because Steven was out of town and we ended up working on some other stuff. So
week before we played it, and we still have new stages to go through. So
yeah,
we still got like a few more DLC stages to go through.
Because I think you guys still have to do the opening stage and everything before you can get into multiplayer and Toxic Commando. So we'll probably save that for another week or whatever, and just continue Ready or Not tonight.
I'm really excited to play Ready or Not on my Xbox.
Yeah, I guess you're gonna have to start over all your unlocks and stuff. But
what unlocks?
I don't know, like upgrading your weapons and things. Like I
never did any of that.
Oh, well, you're already set.
Nobody told me about upgrades, so I just said I like this weapon and that weapon, and I like to shoot doors and get yelled at. So
I think like you could level them up like based on how much you used them and stuff. Like I thought it was starting to track some of that, but I'll have to look and see.
I think that's Helldivers.
I think that's also
we play a lot of games.
No, that's Space Marine 2. That's what that is. We got Warhammer on the
as well.
We got Warhammer on the brain. That's what's gonna happen. Jinkies.
Who knows? All right, so let's jump over to our new segment this week called Let's Talk About It. I'm probably going to find a shorter sound effect for later, but that was the one Steven recommended, so why not? Sadly, this segment is kind of where we're going to be having smaller discussions, not quite a big question, but maybe a tiny extra quarter type thing. But we lost 3 big voice actors recently: Tom Kane, Bill Wise, and Takahiro Fujiwara. Apologies for the pronunciation. Um, and we thought it would be fun to kind of talk about the roles for them that we enjoyed for each one. So some of us aren't familiar with all of them. I know Tom Kane is kind of the bigger, well-known one in the US because good Lord was he in a lot of things. But the other ones did have roles that people recognized and go from there. So I guess we'll start with Takahiro Fujiwara because that's the one I'm least familiar with, but I know you guys had some stuff you wanted to talk about. So Steven, we'll let you start with that.
Yeah, so when the Tom Kane news dropped and these things for some reason come in threes, then we heard about Bill Wise, and then people started posting about Takahiro Fujiwara, which I was just like, oh, they're showing One Piece a lot when they're talking about him. So I looked into him, and he's on the Japanese language side. He is the Tom Kane of Japan because he was in One Piece, he was in My Hero Academia, and these are like the games and the animes. He was a character in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 for Xbox, Series X or whatever. He's been characters in the Fire Emblem games, most notably the Echoes and the mobile one. And he's also been Goro Daimon in most of the King of Fighters games that have come out in the last decade. So I was like, he's been a character. So I was just like, wow. So he's in like every anime almost that I can think of. And he's even probably like crossed some paths with Tom Kane on games they've worked on, where he's done the Japanese side and he's done the English side. So I was like, this is pretty neat. But other than that, I'll just mention the other 2 people. But for Bill Wise, he did a lot. He did a lot of TV, which he's one of those people like you wouldn't notice him unless you saw him in the background type stuff. But then realizing he was Knuckles in the movie they made, like kind of like the anime movie, and then he was the main general in Serious Sam 3. So he was one of those just like he'll confuse you at first because they'll say the original voice of Knuckles has passed away, and you'll be like, okay, which one is that? And then you're like, oh crap, that's the OG, the original, the first one.
Yeah, the 1996 movie.
And then Tom Kane for me was a lot like James Donald Taylor is and Billy West, where his voice is indistinguishable, is very recognizable. You can kind of tell it's him in everything he does, even when he tries to put a spin on his voice. But it's just like it's a calming voice, because I always just remembered him as, every time I heard his voice in a game or a show like Clone Wars, when he was like narrating the beginning or anything like that, I always remembered him as doing all the Lego trailers, like Kick Some Bricks in episodes 1 through 6. And so that's the big quote I remember. That's Tom Kane's quote for me, is Kick Some Bricks in episodes 1 through 6. Because like he always, like, I don't know, got you hyped up for a Lego game, and then hearing him and that, and then hearing him in a Star Wars game, I was just like, wait a minute, didn't you do the trailers? But I know other people had him as much bigger characters, but I think that's when he was also a little bit younger too, and that was when his voice was harder to tell from his older self when he did the Lego and the Star Wars stuff, because him being the professor in Powerpuff Girls was harder to distinguish when you're like, wait, that's the same guy who was in the Lego games. Oh, okay.
I was like, are you going to keep naming them? Like, that's what I was trying to do, one person at a time, so we could talk about each one of them. But Steven or Chase, you want to go ahead? I think you're muted. Okay, there you
go. So I guess for me, for Fujiwara, I wasn't necessarily familiar with all of his work, but the things I was familiar with was Fire Emblem and the Berserk Band of the Hawk game. Excuse me. For Bill Wise, I was never really that familiar with his work, unfortunately. But Tom Kane, I was looking through some of the games that he did, and just like scrolling through the list to see like what I've played or stuff like that, and it's like he's basically in like every Star Wars game I've ever played. So like that pretty much just covers that. Like he was in Republic Commando. I think he's done a lot of voicing for like Yoda. He was the voice of Yoda in a lot of the games. Then he did some of the other stuff, like some of the captains and whatnot. So most of the Star Wars games I've played, Battlefront 2. I think he was Admiral Akbar in the Battlefront games.
Yeah, he was C-3PO in some of them.
Yeah, he was Yoda in, I think, Republic Commando and a couple other games. Clone Wars, I think he was Yoda as well. And then he was also the Plague Champion in Warhammer 40k, Dawn of War 2. So I thought that was kind of interesting when I was like scrolling through some of his stuff. Dawn of War 2 is one of my favorite games. So yeah, he's been in a lot. He's like, oh wow, that's who he was, or that's so yeah, it was quite cool to see.
Okay. So for me, with these three, Takahiro Fujiwara, I was not as familiar with his work at all because I don't normally listen to the Japanese voices for anime when I watch it because the subtitles, me trying to pay attention to read those, well, because I don't always watch. I'm usually doing other things at the same time, makes it difficult. But it makes sense. Like you're talking about, his being basically the Tom Kane for the amount of work he did on that side. And when I looked at the list of the stuff he had done, like there's a lot of shows I have watched or things that I've seen that he was involved in. So that was impressive. Build wise, like I said, I didn't realize he was the first Knuckle back in the 1996 Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, for actually giving him that voice. And then for Tom Kane, that's the one, as we said before, that he just was so prolific with what he did. Chase already mentioned the Star Wars games, which, for a lot of those, like the Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron series, those are some of my favorite Star Wars games. He's been involved in those. He was involved in parts of Knights of the Old Republic for different ones of those. He was Yoda. We're talking about not just for like the Clone Wars as the show, as well as he voiced Yoda on the 360 version of Soul Calibur. Remember Soul Calibur 4, you could get Yoda on 360 and Vader was on PlayStation until they had him as crossovers, but he voiced him on there. Professor Utonium, we talked about for Powerpuff Girls. That's one we listened to a lot as my kids grew up and always remembered that voice so well. I was kind of surprised. I didn't realize he was Darwin in the Wild Thornberries, the monkey. So that was kind of funny. But my favorite of his that is just so terrible but so good is Woodhouse from the show Archer, which is the old butler that Archer basically just tortures all the time. And I could have thought it was played by somebody else. He may have picked up for part of it. I'll have to look and see on that one.
There's also him, the villain in Powerpuff Girls as well.
Really? Okay, I didn't know he voiced that one. That's a change of voice, definitely for the tone of it. Because there's a lot of after effect with that one too. So I'll have to double check because it said Woodhouse was listed there, but I could have swore that was a different guy and he had passed away beforehand because that's why he was quiet for some of those reasons.
If you look into it, there's some very touching things.
Yeah.
That they did for Tom Kane, where Lucasfilm and some of the other studios archived his work, so they'll always have it. And he did do a little reading of something from his hospital bed, so they do have a last recording of him too.
Oh, nice.
So they just did a lot of tributes and such, so it was nice.
I remember seeing a picture that some of the different voice actresses that played Blossom, Bubble, and Buttercup from Powerpuff Girls got a picture with him, and they're all kind of posed with him like they would in the show with the professor. And that's one that they've been sharing a lot as well. So yeah, it's sad that we keep losing a lot of the voice actors and things going through, and hopefully these people won't try and recreate this stuff in any way. Like they should just kind of let them be. And, you know, if they have earlier recordings, that's fine. But I'm hoping we can get new voice actors from this point on and not try and do the AI stuff people have been suggesting, which we really don't want.
Yeah, so. I always appreciated there's certain parts in Japan where when the old version of the of what's his name, Heihachi, passed away, that they're like, we're not gonna have that character for a while in respect for the voice actor. So they used the young version for like forever.
Right.
Until they finally came full circle. And they do that a lot. They're just like, we're gonna retire that. You know, there's the rumor they had where they never put Professor Oak in Detective Pikachu because they wanted Robin Williams for the role, and Robin Williams really wanted the role, and he passed before he could kind of get into it. So there was always that rumor that's why you won't see Professor Oak in live action. So yeah.
So I looked it up. I just because I wanted to verify, because I was like, wait a minute, I remember part of this different. Tom Kane did voice Woodhouse in season 5. That's why I remember part of that popping up with his voice. Before that, it was George Coe. He did 1 through 4, and when he passed away, they had Woodhouse for a while, but every time he would try and talk, somebody would cut him off. Was kind of their joke for that little bit until they brought Tom Kane in, and then now he has passed away as well. So just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to sit there and say something and have it be wrong.
Big in Call of Duty too. He did a lot of he did one character throughout a lot of series.
All right, so that's our first attempt at Let's Talk About It. We'll work that out as we use it. It won't be an every episode thing, but
we promise people won't die every time we talk about it.
Yeah, let's not have that be the the reason for this section. We'll work on the sound effect too. It was literally right before the show. I was like, oh God, I don't have any sound. Steven threw out a suggestion. I went and grabbed it really quick and just did a dirty, fast edit of it and threw it up there. So, hey, it's something. Oh yeah, I see you fixed my Xbox again. Thanks.
Proofreading on the fly. Got to make sure.
Oh, God.
They took a vote and that won. So
yeah, no, you're not wrong. All right, let's jump over to our first news segment this week. All right, so Sony has officially announced that their single-player titles will only be available on PlayStation hardware. I find it funny. Some people are celebrating this and talking about like, oh, the system needs to have exclusives. It needs to be the reason for it happening. But so many are the same people going, no, Xbox needs to put their games on other stuff. They shouldn't have. It's not fair to keep their stuff only on there. And it's like, it's such a two-sided conversation. But this one, so while they're benefiting from the ports from Xbox, which Forza and so forth have been selling incredibly well over on PlayStation, they're pulling support for future titles on PC or other systems outside of multiplayer titles like Helldivers 2 and the upcoming Marathon. Those will still get releases on other systems. But some are also pointing out that they announced this after they increased the cost of their hardware again. So now if you want to continue playing PlayStation mainline titles, you have to cough up the higher price. And I also did verify the existing games, because it was going back and forth, are not being delisted. They're not like sunsetting them where, Spider-Man 1 and 2 and God of War and things like that are coming off the stores. Those will still be continued to be played, but nothing new will be coming out. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on this one for PlayStation going back to just kind of just for themselves for their first party titles? Steven, you seem to have the thumbs up there. So
yeah, I have the thumbs up because when they did it, there was a lot more negativity and a lot more bad news coming from it than it was good news. So yeah, you could play God of War on PC and stuff, but it had tons of problems. So every game they released on it had a myriad of issues that people pointed out, that like, oh, it runs fine on PlayStation, but they can't get it running on PC, which is probably how it was developed on in the first place type of stuff. So, they got ragged on for a lot of that, saying, why is it running worse on my super powerful PC? And then you had all the negativity behind the Helldivers and you have to have a PSN account with anything you have that's from a PlayStation Studio, and and it's banned in 101 countries and stuff like that and territories. So their foray into PC was not glamorous at all. So this is their way of just cutting their the stuff and run and just being like, you know what, forget we ever did it. So yeah, it looks bad on paper, but or at least at first glance, but I can understand why they did it because it wasn't helping them at all.
I think in part of that though, that's kind of Sony doing that almost on purpose. Like, hey, we're going to underdevelop these games to release them. Oh, you don't like them underdeveloped? How dare you? We'll just, do this. Or Helldivers 2 came out. It's a huge success. All right, we're going to, make it where you have this requirement and basically shoot ourselves in the foot. Oh, you don't like that? Okay, fine. We'll just pull this back. It's like they're making it bad and then claiming it's not selling as well. We'll have to pull it back. And it's like, you kind of did that to yourselves. Like it feels like. Chase, I know you look like you're trying to say something, but you're muted.
I'm not muted. Just was keep it quiet.
Oh, go ahead. Say something. I'm down for it. What's your thoughts on this? I'm curious.
Well, no, I just don't think that Sony intentionally did things bad just to be like, oh, failed on PC, guys. We tried. We didn't want those sales.
I don't think they intentionally did, but
I just think they couldn't catch a break. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's just
PC games are released and they're rough sometimes. They usually get patched and they go from there. But go ahead, Chase.
Yeah, I just think that Sony just didn't I think they wanted to release some stuff on the PC. They wanted to tap into that market, but I think the problem was I don't think they got the right people to do it, and I don't think they just put as much effort probably as they should have into it, maybe. But this whole exclusives thing to me, it's just such a weird argument that just I don't think needed to be an argument amongst people. Because the problem was Xbox wanted to release stuff on PlayStation, probably because Microsoft corporate was pressuring them to do so to make money,
right?
And so Xbox did it because they wanted the financial compensation for it. At no point has Sony said, oh yeah, we're really into the idea of releasing our exclusives onto other consoles, and that's fine. They can do that. They can say that, because what's the number one thing that every Xbox fan's been complaining about? And then the CEO was like, we heard you. The new CEO was like, we hear you guys. Was the fans sitting there saying we want exclusives back, we want our shit back, and we want it on Xbox. So it's kind of like Xbox fans want their exclusives, PlayStation fans want their exclusives. Let's just,
I think the argument for that, let's look at Forza Horizon 6 that just came out. Right now it's only on PC and Xbox. It's gotten really good reviews. I've been enjoying the living hell out of it. But a lot of what I hear is people don't buy it. It's coming out on PlayStation. Just wait and get that. Because
Better Shadows.
If you buy a PlayStation, then you're going to get these games that are now only on PlayStation, which is including Wolverine and whatever else. And you'll get the Xbox games. So why bother getting an Xbox? And I know Microsoft's it'll sell the games, but if they can't keep people on their hardware, less developers, as we're seeing, will bother with it. A lot of Japanese releases just skip Xbox completely because what's the point? People are going to buy it on PlayStation or PC. And
the
same argument.
Xbox never sells in Japan either, though. So,
and there's different things for that, but this doesn't help. But then you look, people are like, oh, well, because I see a lot of these arguments in the discussions. And that's why I find funny, and I'm kind of mocking. I don't actually think Sony went and did it on purpose of making bad games. I agree, but they probably got a little light on who they chose for developing or what funding they gave them. I think that realistically,
I think that is accurate. I don't think they put the amount of time and effort that they probably should have if they wanted to do this successfully.
Well, yeah, they were focused on live service games.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But if you then turn around and look at Nintendo, you have a Switch 2 now, and you're excited for all these games you could only play because you have the Switch 2 that are coming out. You're looking forward to a Fire Emblem. You're looking forward to, whatever else is coming out. Which has kind of been funny because that's why Nintendo still sells, because you only get their games.
Right.
Because that's how it works.
totally get that, like, Xbox fans, they want, there to be a reason to own an Xbox. Totally get that. I have no problem with Xbox having exclusives. I have no problem with Sony having exclusives. I have no problem with Nintendo having exclusives. It's just one of these things where it's just like, it's just like, come on, guys. Like, Sony tried the PC thing. They failed, mainly because they probably just underfunded and didn't pick the right people to actually do these things.
Right.
Xbox wants their stuff back. They want the toys back. And, like, life goes on. Everybody buys a Switch 2. Like, yeah, it's... I think it's one of these things. I think we're at the point now in the console cycle, and we can have the discussion. And there's a discussion to be had about because consoles are getting more expensive as time's gone on, rather than the other way around.
Right.
I think but I think it's gotten to the point now where anybody that's decided to buy an Xbox has probably bought an Xbox. Anybody that's decided to buy a PlayStation's bought a PlayStation, generally speaking. And then everybody buys a Switch.
Go ahead, Stephen.
So it's interesting because recently they interviewed Ken Levine from BioShock fame, and he was just saying with the Switch 2, it's immediately apparent that the graphics don't need to get better; they just need to run smoother and more reliable. Because he says with the Switch 2, we're seeing diminishing returns. We're seeing that there's not too much better you can make these look. These look fantastic. These look like amazing right now. And other than trying to go Uncanny Valley or God help us, DLSS 5, like a lot of the stuff now is starting to finally blend together. It's nice to see.
People have been saying that for years now.
It doesn't have the hair effects for Pragmata and Resident Evil 9 on Switch 2, but it keeps up with the other two boys. It's not. It runs pretty well overall. There's just some like reflections that are missing, and sometimes in some hair effects, but they're really close to each other. And now, when I worked in a gaming store and somebody would come and ask me the big question, not related to ours, but would ask us like, okay, knowing nothing about the games, which system should I get? And in all honesty, by having both of them, I said, look, I have both of them. And I said, overall, PlayStation's focus with their system, I'm not saying with their games, but with their system, is that games came first. So PlayStation made sure that their games ran really well and looked the best they possibly could. And for a lot of that, especially with what happened with PS3, and they never wanted to duplicate that again, where it was harder to develop for, or it just didn't run as well. So they wanted to make sure they were in the top for that. So I always said, hey, if you're going really for strictly gaming, I said PlayStation 5 is your choice. But I said if you're a big audio video file, and most importantly, because PlayStation doesn't do it, if you still want that to be your media box that also plays your CDs and your movies, it's the best choice for media, because the video and audio options on Xbox, especially when you're setting up a new TV, are so much more aligned, where they're actually giving you everything from white balance to nits to all these other things that you can look into, that PlayStation just says on or off, while Microsoft's like, look at all these options we have, and then we have the ones for devices and this, and we're not limiting you on hard drive space. So they know you want to use an Xbox for media. So I usually don't get some of these complaints here and there, back and forth. I'm just like, it's cool when these games come out for the other systems, because it's just, somebody finally gets to play it who's just never had that system. So, especially with the Switch, where everybody buys that, because it's just like, what about this but portable? Is why like there's people buying Pragmata and Resident Evil 9 on it, when there obviously are better looking versions out there, but they're like, no, I want it on this system because it's either got the HD Rumble or it's got Amiibo support for some reason. or an amiibo for it, so it's got something going for it. And I wouldn't say that's like your big exclusive that makes you go for a Nintendo version.
Right.
It is for me because it's just like an extra added thing for it. That's not just a statue; it's a statue that does something. But you know, hey Sony, bring Helldivers 2 to Switch 2. Like, okay, like they were forced to do baseball because even the MLB was just like, you can't just have baseball in one system. We want to sell tons of baseball games.
Right.
Now I have a PlayStation logo on my Xbox game and my Switch game. I don't know what happened with the Lego Horizon game that came to Switch, but I'm still happy for that because I don't know how that deal came together. But
I think that's just they just want the exposure and the sales.
that could be the MLB being,
I say that could be the
being
power
like
of the
MLB and saying
Lego.
we want as many Lego games as possible, except fuck Xbox. But
and that was, I think, part of the frustration. It's like, well, that's a game, you're putting it on these, but they're purposely skipping Xbox. Like I know the whole fight between PlayStation and Xbox is kind of funny, and we look into it a lot more than a lot of people normally do.
Yeah, some of the stuff is rough though because you have to look at it. It's stuff that we don't know completely 100% about, and we don't know how the distribution, the creation of physical media, and everything works for both these systems.
Right.
We know that Sony always wants you to have a new SKU, so they will not put it on disc. They'll just give you the extra content when they make a Game of the Year edition on a code. But then Xbox will be like, we'll allow the same SKU to exist, but just with more content on it. So sometimes their games are all on disc, sometimes they're not. So there's a lot of back and forth we don't know about because even with some of these like limited run and such, you get the discrepancy too, where you're like, well, where's the Xbox version? It's like, well, their rules on making physicals are entirely different from the other two guys. So
yeah,
it helps and hurts. It's just, so I like I said, like when I'm recommending it to a customer, just look at the benefits. You look at your pros and cons. If the games are part of the pros and cons, cool. But sometimes the system might be too because of what it does.
right.
I'm really mad that I still can't use a regular app on Switch 2, but because I liked using YouTube and stuff. I think I at least have Crunchyroll on there, but I'm like, that's not enough. I need more apps on my Switch 2 because if I'm taking that everywhere, like, isn't that what you'd want? Is gaming and media?
Yeah, Nintendo's always been weird about the media side of everything. Like, it was surprising when they allowed Netflix back on the Wii just because of the popularity of it, but then that went over to Wii U and then just kind of started dying off very quickly after that. Like, I guess for Switch they didn't want to have to deal with docking, undocking, and doing all of that. Plus, a lot of the media people just didn't want to work on the app for it. Like, I think Netflix even came out and said, like, we just don't want to do it. So they just didn't make the app, and you just didn't get it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But there's a little bit more on the PlayStation stuff, so we'll jump over to that real quick. So after announcing, their games are only going to be on their hardware for the single player stuff, as well as none of the PC, Sony also decided to raise the cost of PlayStation Plus. Not a crazy amount, thankfully, but it is increasing. So the 1 month versions, premium's going up to $19.99, which is about a $2 increase from $17. The extra version is going from $14.99 to $16.99, another $2 a month. And then essential is $9.99 to $10.99, so it's only $1 more. If you do by 3 months, because that's what they offer you, I think is 1 month or 3 month. I don't know if they even do the 12-month anymore.
Yeah, they do 12-month.
Okay, because that's what I was originally trying to find, but I couldn't find any information on it. Premium's going from $49.99 to $54.99, so it's a $5 increase. Extra $39.99 to $43.99, which is $4, and essential is $24.99 to $27.99, which is $3 every 3 months. Not giant increases, but we're kind of seeing this, for some of them when you're locked into what they have, you have to pay what they want, and that's kind of becoming a pain. And Microsoft was doing it for a while too. Surprisingly, they actually brought theirs down a little bit, which I'm sure that may have been just a one-time, please don't be mad at us. I'm just waiting for it to go back up. And every streaming service under the sun, I think, keeps increasing all the freaking time. I think I don't even know how much Netflix is at this point. It's up there.
Just wait till we get ads.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how that's going to be.
Wait until you turn on your Xbox or PlayStation and you have a square taken up by Taco Bell's new Fiesta Taco Supremes and stuff. You just wait. Live Moss.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Some of the Xbox interfaces were already doing that before, so I'm hoping they...
I know the 360 did that for a while because I was like, what is this game? And I'm like, it's not a game, it's an ad.
At least then it was usually tied to a game or a promotion, but yeah, it's annoying when it's something completely different. Because if it's not game related, I don't want to see it on my system. God help me, it better to be like Taco Bell, like you're talking about. Like, no.
Jerry gets ready to start gaming. He's like, you know what? I'm actually hungry now.
I am a little bit, but still, they're gonna be thinking of Taco Bell. Like, oh man,
let's
burrito
get
would
to
be
some
good
good
right
news now. There's some good news to be had here.
Yeah, this is my concern about whenever they lock down for different systems is the fact that when you're stuck to that environment, they can keep increasing the price, and you either have to give up what you have and go, or you're just kind of stuck with whatever they do. And that's true for any of them, which is kind of a problem. But yeah, let's go to better, happier news, I guess, here. All right, so this isn't really happier news, actually.
Yes,
but
it is. Yeah! Kill it!
Good
Kill
God,
it with
man.
fire.
People enjoy this. Calm down.
Yeah,
Bungie's announced they are ending support for Destiny 2 with the upcoming Monument of Triumph update on June 9th. I enjoyed Destiny 2, and I'm glad that they're actually still keeping it going so people can still play it. The game will continue to be available to play online, just as Destiny 1, I did not realize this, is still live, but no further support or expansions will be added. Bungie themselves, on kind of a sadder note, has apparently been pitching other games but hasn't gotten anything greenlit yet, leading some to wonder if Sony will have further layoffs as the developer has cost the company a lot of money since they were purchased after not matching the amount of money they claimed to be making when Sony got them. There's also no word on if they will try to develop a Destiny 3 or if Sony will have them move on to another direction. Steven, there's players other than you. Some people actually enjoy it. So this has a higher chance than Snatcher, though. I don't know.
There's probably more people playing Snatcher right now.
I really doubt that. They should play Snatcher. It was fun, but yeah, there's Destiny 2 still got a pretty good group going on. I quit playing it a while back. Like, I really enjoyed Destiny 1 all the way back from like the beta, playing that. Destiny 2 I got into and enjoyed it, but then that was the whole thing where they released it on PC like shortly after they launched it, and then decided to remove content for the version that was already available. So you paid for the game, lost content because they made it a different paid piece, and I was like, all right, I'm out. I haven't really played it much since because that was just dirty to me. I don't know. I'm not even going to ask Steven because you've already made that clear, but Chase, is this one you ever played or enjoyed? Or
I've actually never played any of the Destinies other than the I played something with, was it you, Swan? I played something with where we did like a demo or something.
I think we played it on 360 for a while.
Yeah. I think we tried something like a demo or something co-op ages ago, and then but yeah, I've just never, because the problem with me is that I've played similar games like it, like I used to be real big into like Division and Division 2 back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that one had this thing where like it continues with like this continuous story, and like they're added more content that extended
and they
story.
Still are.
And yeah, I know. Yeah. And stuff, and it's just like one of these things that it's just like, well, it's because they're ramping up now because they're making Division 3, so they want to keep people back into Division 2. But it's one of these things where eventually I just like have to stop and think about it for a second. I'm just like, I've got other games to play. I just can't keep playing the same game. Who the hell just plays this one game like every day?
I mean,
some people do.
There are people that buy entire consoles just to play a Madden or to play a Call of Duty, and that's all they're playing. And
it's true.
That's, some people have their thing. Some people only have a PC for World of Warcraft still, or Final Fantasy 14, as Stephen had to hear. So, I mean, it was fun. I did enjoy it. I had fun playing with friends. I probably would have kept playing it as kind of a more of a community thing, but go ahead.
I can see the appeal of it though, because like if you had like a group of people together, because like I did with Division 2, I ended up getting, I ended up getting into like kind of like a Division 2 community through like a streamer and his Discord, and then we like, because I had never done the raids, and so then all of a sudden like I had these people that were like, we'll show you how to do the raids, and I thought that was really cool. So I could see where the appeal is, because I've been there.
And that's kind of the fun of it. And, some of those people I used to play with, I kind of lost contact with, or they moved away, or we just didn't really play much anymore. Obviously, Steven's not going to play with me. So you just really did not like Destiny, huh?
It just got repetitive after a while.
I could see that.
The voice actors either got replaced or passed away, or they, spoilers, they killed some off, and they're like, you have to figure out how to bring them back. It just got overly repetitive to the point where I'd rather play GTFO, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah, that's a game we don't talk about anymore. We just don't admit that we made that mistake.
Like I went in full force when it was on 360, and then I tried to go full force again on PS4, and I was just like, this isn't hitting the same, because there's other games that are doing it better now. And then when Bungie got sold, I was just like, they don't know what they're doing. The fact that if you read the Sony financials on every single page, they had to keep reminding you that they lost hundreds of millions of dollars on Bungie. And they're like, yeah, we lost a lot of money on them. Oh yeah, by the way, we lost a lot of money on them. And also we lost a lot of money on them. So I was just like, okay.
Yeah, Bungie kind of became a shell of their former selves. So yeah, that's the end of that. The game will still be around, but I don't know, like, story-wise. And I kind of like the idea. It's at least interesting in theory. I think you probably agree, Chase. Like, just having a game that change, like if you're in it at the beginning and it changes over time and you're playing through it, that's a whole set of experiences. Just like when I played World of Warcraft for years, I remember cataclysms and events and things that would happen that would like be server wide, and like, oh man, if you were there, it's like stories you can have. But obviously that doesn't do well if like someone joins later on. They're hearing stories about it, but they can't go back and experience it because that was at the point. And
I agree.
It's an interesting take on that type of gameplay. It's like a D&D campaign. If you're not part of it, you can hear stories of it, but you'll never be able to go back and just relive that one, whatever campaign was that campaign.
And this game was too early to have, because it was before Fortnite caught its footing, and all these other games, is that Destiny didn't really have events that were big. They had expansions.
They
but
tried,
they never
but
had
they
like
failed.
A limited time event that you would have to experience. It was just, just get the expansion, play through it, and now you're just playing Destiny 1 again. And that was the fault for me, was just like, you have all this content, but you're not enhancing anything for me. You're not giving a big event. And with how big of a game that tried to be, that's what hurt it. It's easier to do stuff like that with like Space Marine 2, because that game's not going to have like 1,000 people walking around all the time. It's just going to have 3 of you working together, going there. And even Darktide, which we'll talk about a little bit later here, is just like, they know what to add and what to do with things, instead of just saying like, we're going to have a big event. It's like, if you make your game too big, people are going to expect stuff like that. And then when you don't have that, you lose interest.
Yeah, because Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, they would have more of like local events. Like you'd get an indicator that like, this is happening over here. And if you can make it to that spot, you can join in on this like mini boss fight or, story thing or whatever's going on. And that was kind of the draw for part of that. And it was interesting. It would keep things kind of different every so often, but you're not wrong. After a while, it would get kind of repetitive. Like you might have difficulty spikes you can change, to go in and do it. But then it's just that challenge only lasts for so long, until how many times you go and you fight this type of boss where these little things are flying around and you got to snipe them, or, defeat this creature to get this chest. And then you got the whole random items and, finding this guy and seeing what's on sale every day. And they tried to make a cycle of what you would do when you would play it, but it felt almost like work sometimes. Like you just had to go in and clock in and do your stuff. And they never successfully were able to move past that much.
Yeah.
So
no, that's the thing, right? Like because I had that a little bit with Division 2 because I used to play Division 2 a lot, as I said.
I played it some with some of the old crew. I wouldn't mind playing it with somebody else, but
the worst part of Division was going through a big event and fighting a big, huge boss, and instead of a gun, you'd get like a green hat, and you're like, "Fuck you."
And,
see, I got a version of it where I had Leon's Resident Evil 2 police uniform, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to change this now, so whatever. If I get something, I'm like, fuck it, whatever.
well,
kind of killed it for
I
me.
think they ended up changing that too in the Division 2 finally, where like you could make it look like something, but then still like swap gear so that way you had the better stats.
Yeah, I think every game like that's had to start doing that. I think even Destiny did it after a while.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because obviously, like your builds, like games like these, you have to have an interest in making builds, as they say. And then because I did this in Division 2, where there was some YouTubers that I would watch where they'd show you like these builds that they made, and you'd be like, that looks fun. So then you'd try to find the gear if you didn't already. Then you'd make it, and then you were like, all right, I want to see how well this runs. And so then you'd go somewhere to like, you'd either do a raid with some friends, or you do something on like the hardest difficulty just to see, how far you could push it type thing. And like, there is kind of an appeal to it. Like I get it. But yeah, it's just, the problem is it does get repetitive after a while.
And I think Destiny had the Halo problem because it's Bungie.
Yeah.
That people found the meta and the loadouts really quick. So even while I was playing on 360, people have already been like, don't get these weapons, they all suck, only get these.
Yeah,
so it already found its place, and that's really hard to come out of when
I remember going in, like you try and join a group to do a raid, and if you didn't have a particular armor or weapon set, they would boot you and you were done because they only wanted these certain things on there. Which is part of why I only ever play with people I know. I don't like playing with randos because that happens so much in so many games. But like, and I want to ask you guys this because I kind of thought about it. Steven, you were talking about, playing Destiny. It felt very repetitive. You're doing the same things over and over again. But we have another game that is kind of like that. But there seems to be like that little extra special sauce that makes it more entertaining to happen to do these things over and over again. And we're laughing and we're doing all this stuff because Chase will do something and forget to tell us. And we all know of Helldivers 2 that, yeah, we are doing similar things, but they got something right with it. And we get a laugh out of it. Like we're actually enjoying ourselves because it never really feels repetitive because we're always doing something stupid. And I don't think Destiny ever left room
the game
for
doesn't
that.
take itself too seriously.
Right. Plus there's a very important word in there for when you go to all these places. Procedurally generated. When you played Destiny, you knew where everybody would spawn. You knew where to go. The maps were always the same. Everything was always the same. So while there is, yes, I'm playing games like Ready or Not, which is doing the same levels ad nauseum, the spawn spots are different. How they react are different. The AI is different.
The booby traps are in different places.
Yeah, I just thought of the door he shot.
Places, yes. And that's what's
it's
important.
Never at the front door, guys.
Procedurally generated anything helps a lot, and that's what they did with Diablo 4 and such. Where it's like it's not going to be the same twice.
Yep.
So, but Destiny was just like, no, you're gonna. It's like walking into like a McDonald's. Sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller. It's still fucking McDonald's.
Yeah. Same thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Same thing in the Division 2 as well. Like, when they taught me how to do the raids, like, you'd have like this team, this was your job. The guys come out of this door at this exact time. You need to throw a grenade at this section. Like it is like where it's like highly structured and you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Some people like doing that, but after a
while, how
raids,
like World of Warcraft.
And that's why they had, like you said, they made the building where you'd go up levels and things would get increasingly harder and different because they're like, well, shit, let's see if this works. And it's working. So it's probably going to be a big part of Division 3 where everything's going to be randomly generated.
Because I remember World of Warcraft, doing the raids on those, they were very set. Like you would, okay, we're going to face this group. We need this to do this. All right, go over here and pull these people before these spawn in, or, and there was fun in that because you would try and build the groups to do this, to go through and beat these larger challenges. And I think that was the draw of it. That's why it worked, because that was the challenge. You were having fun with doing that.
It's also kind of a sense of community too, a little bit, because like when you're with a lot of like mates and just like people that you get along with, there's like this fun sense of community with it. So like I don't want to like detract from it. I see the appeal.
Oh no, you're not at all. Yeah.
So, yeah, and to have specials through holidays and throughout the year make a big difference. All the games, the live service games now make sure to do that. They make sure to do holiday stuff. They make sure to do summer updates. They make sure to do collabs. We're going crazy with stuff like that because that really helps out. That's why we're getting, which we're going to talk about with Helldivers later, and stuff like that. Is we're getting stuff that people have asked for. That's why we got Killzone. It's just like cool. It's what we were asking for.
So the last thing I'll ask, Steven, if they did make a Destiny 3 and actually learn from this stuff to implement of it, would it be something you'd at least look at and go, okay, at least I'm not saying you'd probably play it because you just seem like you don't really interested in Destiny, and I get that. But like, hey, they've actually learned from it. They're trying something different. Would you at least, you think they might actually ever try that? Or do you think just Destiny's probably should be done and move on?
I think it's done.
Because they don't seem to learn. Like, I know Destiny's been around for a while.
I think with even the mistakes they made with Marathon, I think they're kind of done. Like you're people are just going to compare Destiny 3 to a part 2 or a try again for Marathon. So Marathon's already losing its footing. So they need to go back to the drawing board and stop just putting things together haphazardly.
Jace, you agree with that?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm of the ilk. I wonder if what's going to end up happening eventually is Bungie's going to kind of, if PlayStation's going to kind of do like what Activision does to some of these studios, where it's like, okay, you're done now. Go, like, you're really good at doing this though, so go help this company like set up their multiplayer systems or something like that. And I wonder if Bungie's just going to end up doing that. They're going to be in the background. They're going to get kind of gutted out, and then they're going to just help do like multiplayer setups for games or like something in the background.
And you know what? If it saves from a third round of layoffs, then I'm all for that. If they want to treat them like that. If Guerrilla Games wants to be like, we're the HNIC, but then we're going to have Bungie come in and do multiplayer, perfect. Because that's what they do with Call of Duty. They give one thing to the story, one thing to the multiplayer, and everybody's primarily always happy.
And if it's done right, like that's one of the strengths of what Nintendo's been doing. Their developers are perfectly happy and so capable of helping each other out, because we find out like, how many games have had different developers jump in. Like for Mario Kart, you've got, what's the one that does the Xenoblade games?
Monolith Soft or whatever.
Yeah, Monolith Soft. They helped with Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart. And, it's not like they're being punished. They're like, hey, you guys are really good at this. Help them expand that part out, and then they'll do the rest. And like, they're using them well.
Because they've been doing that, Monolith Soft hired another 100 people.
Yeah. So it's not a bad thing to go into that. It's just, it's not an all or nothing. I think Nintendo sees that and like, we'll keep you busy helping out. If you come up with a big idea you want to do, cool. Then we'll have other developers help you if you want.
Remember, does anyone remember a little game called 007 Everything or Nothing? Mm-hmm. Because they had the Burnout team do the car aspects of the game. And I was just like, that's brilliant. That's what you should be using them for, EA. Yep. Is like, if that's your bread and butter, like give it to them. Don't make them
learn something new.
It's a funny thing that I just recently learned, but the movie Armageddon has some legendary DVD commentary where Ben Affleck was just like, wouldn't it have been easier to train astronauts to do drilling than to teach drillers to be astronauts? And then Michael Bay was like, just shut up.
It's a movie, who cares?
So like, play on their strengths. It's like, so, sometimes I think this is what happens is they kind of get moved back in this kind of role. And I think that's the best. option. Is I would have loved all my companies that I love so much to still exist.
Yeah.
Because they were moved into like a secondary role. If you looked at the as my last little comment here, if you looked at what Embracer Group did, they split into two entities. One is only Lord of the Rings games, and it's like the Fellowship Productions or something weird like that. And then the other one works on all their other IPs. And when you watch their little slideshow they did, where the CEO is talking, he specifically says like, "Stay tuned. We're because we've separated these teams, we have ones that are solely focusing on the IPs that we now own." And right there, right in the middle of the screen, is Time Splitters. And I was just like, "You're showing it off right there."
Yep.
Don't you dare play with our emotions. Don't you
so
dare
far,
do this to us.
And so far, the people who created Time Splitters right now made a word game for Switch. So I was just like, hire them back to just work on Time Splitters with Embracer or something. Like, just do it right.
I guarantee right now, if a good new Time Splitter came out, that would be in our rotation of multiplayer. Like we'd be all in.
Take my money.
Yeah, I get to be a monkey with a gun again. Yeah, that's all I care about.
Oh man,
such a good.
Because they recently made it so you can upgrade your Darksiders again for PS5 and Series X.
Oh my god, I need to go back and play that again. That's such a good game. All right, let's move on to our next little bit here. Nintendo, being Nintendo, not announcing a direct for some damn reason. They did announce Pictonico for mobile phones coming out May 28th for iOS and Android. I'm with Steven on this. Like, this is A+ weird Nintendo, and I'm here for it.
Hey, WarioWare creator retired and left.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our WarioWare. Let's embrace it.
So, yeah, it's basically a WarioWare style game that uses the pictures on your phone for mini games. A few mini games will be available as a free to start title, with more available to purchase in different volumes for up to 80 total mini games. It's not like 80 purchases, but like if you get all the volumes, it's a total of 80. You have to buy at least one volume of whichever one you get to unlock the full game to be able to play unlimited times and everything. Internet's not required beyond first launch and purchasing volumes. I only say that because if you've played some other mobile games that don't work correctly, if you're not online or if you're traveling or something, it's a pain. So that's good. Also, they made it very clear Nintendo states the pictures are not sent to them. So they don't get them. Yeah.
That's good, because I just feel like you said with the facial recognition, someone's going to just take a picture of, I don't know, like Ryan Reynolds and just put it on their junk and be like, "Look, I'm a mini game," and stuff like that. So who knows?
Yeah, we're curious, like what kind of faces it's going to be. I can tell, like, people are probably going to be taking pictures of like movies and stuff to get faces, like you're talking about.
Yeah, because then they can make the memes come to life, like the Ryan Gosling doesn't like cereal meme, where everybody would like put the spoon and he'd look away in the movie. So now they can make it into a mini game.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be, there's 80 mini games, so they're already set. It's not like you can go in and create them and do stuff. And they probably don't dare let people do that with people's pictures, because we all know how bad that would go, how quickly. Instantaneous. All right. Instantaneously, that would go terrible.
Yeah. If you look into the darker side of WarioWare DIY.
Oh, God. Jesus, people. There's no word on pricing for this, but I'm intrigued. Like, I'm a photographer for a lot of stuff, so I have so many pictures on my phone as it is. So that's already just a minefield of what it's going to do for stuff. So I don't know. I'm going to play it. Comes out in, the 28th. So that's actually not that far from now. It's about a week from now. But yeah, we shall see. Yeah, no Nintendo Direct. What the hell? Like, they've announced everything, like either minutes before a direct, like they're smaller directs, or just random. Here's a cell phone game.
Well, don't worry, because Chase got his direct.
Oh, Chase got his birthday wish. He wished too hard. He could have gotten World Peace, but no, he wanted everything Warhammer and freaking got it. So let's jump over to that, because I might be talking about it, but Chase is going to have to explain it. So, yeah, for the Emperor, because a bunch of Warhammer got announced. I'm just going to get on the list, and Chase, I'm going to let you explain a lot of this stuff, because you know more about this than either of us.
Just raise your hand if you have anything to say about it, Chase. I'll make it easy.
No kidding. Starting off, Warhammer 40k Dark Heresy with a beta available now, coming for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Go ahead, just say something.
So if you've played Rogue Trader and you like Rogue Trader, it's the same people. It's Owlcat. So if you like the original game, you're gonna like this. It's I think you can still become a founder, as they call it. You can pre-order and because they've got digital deluxe, physical deluxe. They've also got a physical collector's edition where you get one of the companions as a statue. That's what I'm aiming for.
I saw that. It looked really interesting.
Yeah, it's actually quite like I'm excited for it. Basically, you're going to get to play as a member of the Inquisition, which is going to be interesting. Nobody will see you coming. Nobody will expect you.
No one expects the Inquisition. Yeah.
And so
thank you for making that joke. That respect. It's a classic.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one just because obviously I really enjoyed Rogue Trader. Jesus, how many hours did I put into that? I'd have to even look to see. And no, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, go ahead and run into the next one because you'll have to explain this one. And is this going to be more time you put into it?
Yes. So speaking of time into Rogue Trader, I'm going to be going back to Rogue Trader because on June 11th for PS5, Xbox, and PC, Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader: The Infinite Museum comes out, and oh boy. So basically what this is because towards the end of the game you meet a certain faction and then this plays on that faction. There's a character in the Necron faction that is he's really quite popular right now. His name's Trazen, and he basically runs this like curio, like he collects things throughout the galaxy, whether it be people or items.
Oh wow. Okay.
It just is, if it has like any significant value, then he has no problem with collecting them. And so I'm assuming that what's going to happen is you're going to meet him or like go through his museum at some point. I'll be quite curious to see how they actually do with the story. I think you actually get a new companion in this as well. So like, because I think every expansion's always added a new companion. So it'd be interesting to see how this plays out in the story.
I'm just curious how many more hours you're going to add to this game.
Because I'm trying to think of how many hours because I think every expansion adds roughly around an extra 15 to 20 hours. So I mean, they're decent sized, but they're not like enough to like overtaking by any stretch.
Okay. All right. After that, we had Warhammer 40k Speed Freaks, which is out now for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. I guess this was on PC prior, and now it's on consoles. Seems like it's a vehicular combat game.
Yeah, basically like Twisted Metal, like Warhammer 40k meets Twisted Metal / Burnout, where you're orcs. You play it as the orc boys, and you just set up your battle wagons, and it can with all sorts of different weapons, and you could be smaller but faster or bigger and just like smash through everything. I have it because I got it through the Humble Bundle. Haven't actually played it yet though. But it's like orcs are fantastic. They're basically just soccer hooligans. They're just talking like East Londoner, like accents. Great.
I've heard something with those, and I don't know if this is true, and I have to tell me like they can kind of make things up if they believe it. Like if they think it's, I think I heard it like they paint things red because they believe red is faster, but it actually does make things faster. Like it doesn't have to make sense; it just works.
Yeah. So the way that Warhammer kind of works is with the orcs is so they paint things red because they think red goes faster, but because they all believe that red goes faster, it does go faster. Like it's just this really weird.
So they have this great power, but they're just too stupid to use it in a very terrible way. Okay,
that's the problem. Is like the orcs are really dumb, and some of them are quite smart, and they're called like smart boys or something like that. But then like but most of them are like really dumb. But if they were all smart enough to understand the power that they have, the galaxy would be fucked. Like that's basically like the best way to like. That's the best way to understand it. Most of them are just dumb enough, and they're just looking for a fight. Like that's all they care about is like just looking for the next fight. But like yeah, they're incredibly terrifying in that regard.
Well, the last bit on that, they included crossplay along with a multiplayer level editor and a mech workshop for making your vehicles. And they're including a bunch of new multiplayer modes, which I wasn't going to go into. But next little bit real quick, Warhammer 40K Console Edition pack for Rust, which is just, I don't play Rust that much, but it's kind of seems
Rust
like almost
still around.
Yeah, apparently people still play it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fitting. Like all it is really is you just get like a cosmetic pack where you can look like a Kriegsmarine. And you get a shotgun. And surprisingly, they decided to go with the chainsword instead of a shovel because a lot of Kriegsmarines use shovels because they're like they basically look like old like World War One, like with the gas masks and everything.
Oh, that explains it. Okay,
yeah, but yeah,
this is why I was glad you'd be able to explain this stuff because I am very surface level on my Warhammer knowledge, so it's like we need Chase for this.
Yeah, they essentially just look like World War One, kind of almost German like infantry type.
So I have a fear.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
because what I thought when I first saw it at the beginning is I got it mixed up, and I'm like, okay, what if that's what we get as our suits for a collaboration we're going to mention here? Like, that's going to suck.
I think it'll be better than this, but
because people want to be the bulky motherfucker. So I don't know. That got me scared because I was like, what are these? And then you just described what they were, and I was just like, that better not be what we get. That better not be what we get.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we'll talk about it later, but I wouldn't be surprised. I have a couple ideas.
Let's just jump to it. We can jump around. So basically, what we're talking about, Helldivers 2 is getting a Warhammer 40K Legendary War Bond. And here's the beauty. They even say we have no idea what is going to happen. And I think all three of us are ready to drop the money on it right now and be like, all right, give it to us. We don't care.
They even pretended to make their employees paint figures like they were a huge fan. And I was just like, don't do that.
They actually could be. I don't know. But it does. Yeah, I agree, Stephen. It feels like
we found out that was totally false with Double Fine, where they made a separate little mini direct afterwards saying like that was all a lie. I'm like, okay. I thought that was hilarious.
That was great.
Yeah, so with that collaboration, like I'm really excited for it, obviously. Like I'm just like shut up and take my money. Like I'm buying that right away. So with that collaboration, I'm curious to see what they do because Swan's right. Like there's gonna be a lot of people that want to play as the Space Marines or whatnot, but I think we might potentially get something similar to what Rust did. Like we're going to get like the Imperial Guard, like maybe an Imperial Guard faction. So it could be like the Cadians or
like all the,
I have a theory on what I think we get.
The pack literally says what you're going to get with that war bond. You're going to get a hazmat suit, a chainsaw, a shotgun, storage barrels, and a backpack. Watch. Just watch. So
my theory on what I think we're going to get with Helldivers 2, I don't think we're going to get the armor. Because that's just bulky. It changes a lot of the stuff. Even on the heavier armors, you're not that big. They may have something themed around it, like colors and decals and things like that. I could see, your cape might have something on it. I think it's going to be mostly focused on weapons. Yeah. Where you're going to get, we might get a bolt gun or, the chainsword would be hilarious. Things like that being added in. And I think we're going to get modified versions of the vehicles. Like maybe we'll get a different version of the mech that looks like, one of the bigger guys from war, like a dreadnought, but like smaller look of that. Or maybe, the vehicle can look a little different. I think it'll be based around that kind of content for a lot of it. Because they don't I don't think on any of them, they do drastic changes to the armor. They do look different. Like you can get the ones from Killzone where you can get the sniper armor, I think. Yeah. But it doesn't really change the size of it. So
temper your expectations.
Yeah, but that's my theory of what I think. I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. I would be happy with that.
Because even with Helldivers 2, like when they did the collaboration specifically with Halo ODST, because basically the Helldivers are basically ODST troopers. It's orbital drop shock troopers. So like it was a match made in heaven. So
that was one of the funnier ones they did too. I was like, wow, they actually did this.
Yeah, and so I think it's going to be probably something similar along the lines of we're probably not going to get to play as the big guys. Unfortunately, we're probably going to end up still going to play as the little guys, but there's probably going to be like, they're probably going to have different themes around the armor. You know, like you might be able to play as like, I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation, but like Kasserkin, special forces and things like that. So we'll probably get some good like appearances, and we're gonna get like, I think they'll do well with the collaboration. The vehicles is an interesting one because there's a lot of different like tanks and stuff they could actually
depending on how they do it, because I mean most of the time it is like the weapons can have different effects, but it's mostly a visual change, and your armor is usually in different sets as a visual. But I think all the vehicles, unless they bring in like different armaments, tend to just be different skins or changes, so it might be themed around it. And that's kind of where my head place is for this, of like not going crazy.
Maybe even the mechs will look good.
Don't worry, I'll drive them.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think Jeremy's right. We're definitely gonna get like a bolt gun or something like that. Because I think down. Even one of the guns that I think actually Swan used quite a bit, they added it to the game, and they actually said this was like what we felt Helldivers' version of a bolt gun would be.
And now they can get an actual bolt gun.
So now they can actually get an actual bolt gun, which is great. So, yeah. Oh, no. But Warhammer fans, we're eating good right now. We've been eating good for a couple of years, to be fair.
I'm going to buy this, and we don't even know what we're going to get. And I think all three of us are just going to say, all right, just do it. And it's well earned. Because, I don't know, Helldivers 2, I want us to go back and play it. I like the fact that we rotate a lot of our titles. But that's one that when we come back, we're like, oh, all this stuff's been added, or this is happening, and we can keep going. All right, so let's jump back up our list here. Warhammer 40k Mechanicus 2 is out now. Chase already seemed happy about this. This is for PS5, Xbox, and PC. Please explain.
Did you already order the vinyl?
I want the vinyl in my life. Like, so
yeah,
bad.
I saw that there was actually vinyl. I was like, oh, shit.
The music alone, you can actually get the playlist on like Spotify and stuff, but like the music alone is worth the price of admission. And in Mechanicus 1, Mechanicus 1's really good. That's where you're playing as the Adeptus Mechanicus, and you're actually you're going against the Necrons. You come across a Necron, what they call a tomb world, and they're awakening, and so you're doing like different operations against them. It's so Mechanicus is a turn-based strategy game, so take that with a grain of salt. It's
that makes sense for the series. Yeah,
it's not it's not super slow paced, but it's not like it is turn-based. So like you take a turn, then you gotta wait for the enemies to take a turn, stuff. But like there's never like,
so it's more Civilization than StarCraft.
More XCOM. Say that.
Okay, StarCraft. XCOM. Yeah. I was thinking like Civilization with like taking turns, but yeah, XCOM's a better example. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you'll move your players or you move your characters around. You'll take your shots, like do your attacks against the enemy. And then the enemy moves their people around and they try to attack you and whatnot. So I don't know how they're going to balance it in Mechanicus 2, but in Mechanicus 1 at one point I was able to turn my 6 tech priests into walking gods, and like I was able to just like basically stop the timer from continuously counting at one point. So yeah, I'm curious to see how they do it in this game, because in this game they're basically taking characters from the first game that used to give you the orders, and now you're actually just playing them.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be interesting.
Okay. Like I said,
that
you're just...
though. That playlist.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, Steven.
I just want to let you know, Chase, make sure to go to lacedrecords.co. They do ship to New Zealand.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
They have a rest of the world store, and then they have lacedrecords.com. Lacedrecords.com is US and Canada only, but then lacedrecords.co ships everywhere else.
Okay,
and it's
sweet.
the exact same storefront except in the different currency. So just keep an eye on it, because I just checked their site, and yes, they have the Zenless Zone Zero ones. That means they have the newest vinyls and stuff. So
Nice.
keep an eye out on that site, because they do ship to New Zealand.
Awesome. There you go. So you might get do you have a good record set up there where you can play them, or you just want to get them for your collection?
It'd just be a collector's item, just because the Mechanicus 1 soundtrack is just next level. Like, even Swan can attest to that.
Is it
Yeah,
what
good
kind of
pedigree.
music is it? Like, is it more like
It's-
techno, or is it like orchestral, or
Think like gothic orchestral mixed with like this binaric, like techie, because they're basically like a faction of people who are human, but they replace their body parts with like cybernetic stuff over time.
Oh yeah, you run into some of them when we were playing Space Marines
Yep.
too, right? Like there's some of the guys
Exactly.
running around. Okay, that makes sense.
So it's like them, but there's like this gothic orchestral kind of like theme, but then they add in this bit of like techno / binaric, like computer synth stuff into it, and it's really catchy.
Yeah,
I'll have to try
for
and
me,
listen
it
to that.
reminds me like a little bit of Rammstein, where Rammstein has their catchy hooks, but in the background they have like people chanting, or they have
Mhm.
like a orchestra and opera singing in the background. So it's like that. It's mixing the two together to show you that it's still badass. So.
Okay, I will have to listen to that, even if I don't play it. That sounds awesome. These next two games I am personally excited for as well. Warhammer Survivors with the Steam demo out now. I'll be getting that later to try out. Also coming to PS5, Series X and S, Switch 1 and 2,
I'm definitely getting
which
a
is where I'll be
Switch
getting
2.
it. Yeah, it's a Switch 2 for me, 100%, as well as PC and mobile. Same guys that do Vampire Survivors with the hordes of characters, and I put an ungodly amount of hours into this, but it fits so well with Warhammer.
They lent their engine, but they did not develop it.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for the correction.
Because they were like, if you want updates, don't go to Punkel and say what's going on with it. They're like, these guys are developing it.
Oh, that's right.
We lent them the engine
It's the Bolt Gun Studio. They're the ones developing it.
Yeah.
Good, because speaking of the next games, Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun
Segue.
2 also has a Steam demo out now, which I want to play.
I have an issue with them.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
This is coming for PS5, Xbox, and PC. We're also
Exactly.
Yeah, no Switch and Switch 2, not yet.
The only physical copy of the first one is on Switch.
I'm still trying to find it.
And you're not going to release the sequel on Switch 1 or 2. I'm not going to play that game until it comes on Switch 1 or 2.
That's fair.
It'd probably get picked up by Limited Run or somebody, to be fair.
Because I was like,
they'd have to announce it first.
Devolver, all your games come to Switch. I was like, come on, Devolver, what are you doing?
It's kind of an interesting thing. Like the Xbox has got where you can go and make your own controllers, and they already have two preset Xbox controllers that are based on Naira Veyrath and Malum Kato. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Malum Kato.
Kaido. Yeah. These are two characters that are from Bolt Gun 2, but you can actually get controllers based on those color schemes. They don't look too bad.
I want
They're actually pretty interesting.
The Naira themed one. I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, Swan might be interested in this, that red and black theme.
Yeah, and she was the host of the direct too.
She was the
Yeah.
It was because what's her name, Alana Pierce. She's the voice for Naira.
Yeah, there's been some TikTok videos that appeared with her playing with her husband, and she's like, "It's so surreal to hear my voice." And she's like, the game.
She's been getting some voice acting gigs lately because I think she was in Dispatch as well. She was one of the characters in Dispatch, so she's doing well.
I think she used to work with Sony for a while too before she moved on from that. So they also announced Bolt Gun Boom is coming out for mobile in 2026. I know it's a mobile game, but it actually looked kind of fun. Like, you know, for people that like to play mobile, why not?
So this is just basically Bolt Gun 1 on mobile, right? Or is this a completely different game?
I think it's a little different.
I think because it's either compact or dialed back a little bit in terms of the amount of content. That's why they're calling it Boom.
Yeah, it's kind of focused on the mobile side of it. So it's probably more short levels, things like that, where you can just pick up and play it.
Fair enough.
Warhammer 40k Battle Sector Ultramarines out now for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. I did not know what this was about. Chase, help me out.
Battle Sector's it's made by Slytherin Games. It's a I've got it. It's it has a campaign. It's a turn-based strategy game. It has a campaign that's based around the Blood Angels faction, but then they have a online multiplayer like skirmish mode / I think they also have like a crusade mode or something maybe as well, and which people really enjoy. And so then they've added more and more factions that people can play for this multiplayer mode. So that's really all that is.
Nice. This next little bit, like 20 plus classic Warhammer games have been brought back to life, playable on Steam. You can buy them on there. There's just a whole list of games. I think it's like 25, 26 titles, at least the ones they showed. But are there any particular ones, Chase, you would recommend people should go back and play? Because these range all the way back from like the 90s, apparently, for some of these.
So
that's the 1990s, children.
Warhammer games have been around for a while, but they weren't really in the limelight. Like I said, we're eating good now, Warhammer fans. But the games I would probably recommend on this list is if you like space, like if you like real-time strategy, space combat, Gothic Armada, Battlefleet Gothic Armada, and I think there's an Armada 2. They're both really good. And you can get the first game, Gothic Armada, you can get for like dirt cheap on Steam. I think I got it for like $2 New Zealand, so it's probably like
free.
And,
they pay us.
Yeah, practically. So, I mean, it might be a little bit dated, like compared to like some newer RTS games now, but
understand theyese are older titles, so they're going to be older mechanics.
Yep. The one that's kind of quote unquote the hidden gem of the group, I think, is Fire Warrior, because that was only on PS2, if I remember correctly. Swan, I think that was PS2 exclusive.
Oh wow. He's gonna go look. I know. So my initial, before I wasn't big into Warhammer back in the day, but like the Dawn of War games 1 and 2, I actually played those. I had them on PC and messed around with those because I was big into like StarCraft and stuff.
Yeah.
So the PC I had at the time, I could at least run some of those.
Yes.
So those are the ones I always enjoyed and got into.
Dawn of War 1, because you can get Dawn of War Anniversary Edition, which I think comes with all the expansion packs that they released at the time. So I would recommend that. Dawn of War 2 is absolutely fantastic game. That one's basically, it's real-time strategy, but you don't have to worry about any of the base building or anything. It's all just about, you basically control like 4 squads of troops, and you're just moving them around and trying to position them properly. But those two, I would say, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so Fire Warrior is an interesting game.
Is that a US release, Steven?
Yeah, and yes, I did pay $2.95 for it back in the day.
It wasn't highly rated.
I know that's one I do not have.
So,
but
while I don't have a big notice of a lot of these because they were PC exclusive for a lot of these, and Space Hulk, at least the ones they showed were not the disgusting one. I would echo yours. Like, I would personally recommend this because this one is the easiest to go into because it's just your first-person shooter.
It's
in the Warhammer
standard PlayStation 2 first-person shooter.
And
back in the day.
Also Dark Omen, because that's on 360, which was kind of like one of their forays into their strategy as well as Battle March that they did.
Yeah, I've never played Dark Omen. That was Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah, because Warhammer Fantasy, that was their answer to Warcraft 3, where like we can do heavy story 2 in the fantasy universe. So that was pretty good. You can find that on 360. And then the one that you have to know what you're playing is Blood Bowl. Is all 3 of them, because they're up to 3, is fantastic, but it is not what you think. It is a real-time strategy Warhammer football game. So you do not get to move around like Madden or Mutant League. You have to play it in a strategic way still.
Yeah, it's turn-based, but it's that's what I was telling Jeremy. I was trying to explain it a little bit to Jeremy because I was like, it's kind of like Mutant League in the sense that you can, because like if you get a good enough dice roll, like one of your players will just outright kill the opposing player. It's crazy. But
I like the fact that without planning this, all three of us have recommended completely different games out of this list.
Yeah.
Even for me, because I haven't played a lot of these, but I was like, no. Dawn of War 1 and 2, those are the ones I actually liked. Play those. Chase, you had your whole list. Steven, you filled in the rest of them. I was like, this worked out well. We didn't plan that.
That's
so.
No, it's good. Like the classics, It's kind of good to see the classics getting a glow up.
And it's nice to see, like you were saying, some of these are pretty cheap, and it's kind of fun, even just to go back and see for a couple bucks how these games used to play. You know, how the mechanics changed over time, how the art design. Yeah. And they're still fun to be had. Just temper your expectations of what you get. Like, these are of their time. This is how it works. But for newer ones, we have Warhammer Dawn of War 4 launch and expansion details coming out September 17th for PC, which they had a whole list of what's coming out expanded from that. So you have the launch as well as the expansions. Go ahead, Chase. You had something on that one you wanted to say?
Not really a whole lot to actually add to this one. It obviously looks like there's a lot of content coming afterwards. So anybody that's planning on getting this game, me included, because I've played all three of the Dawn of Wars, so I want to see what they do for the story. It's going to be well supported, so I don't think you'll be disappointed in that regard.
I need to play the third one. I haven't actually messed with that one before.
It's not great.
Okay, maybe it's good that I only played the first two.
Most people
wait. That means he'll like it. He'll love it. It's the greatest.
No, it's only with you.
I know.
Chase and I seem pretty even on these things, Steven. It's you and I that absolutely, like, I was having some fun with Destiny back in the day, which it makes perfect sense why you absolutely hate it.
I hate it now. It just got tiring.
Yeah, you're not wrong, actually.
No.
We love running with that joke.
Yeah, most people in the Warhammer community that like the Dawn of War games, they'll be like, yeah, 1 and 2 were great. Don't know why they skipped 3 and they just decided to go to 4. It's one of those things where you're better off almost just reading the wiki and getting the plot points that you need. Move on.
Good to know. Okay, good to know. Is there anything from the expansions they're going to have that stick out to you that worth mentioning, or just move on to the next thing?
You can just move on.
Okay.
There's nothing really.
You can find it online. They have a good trailer.
But they're making U2's figures of them too.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, all right. This I'm excited for, and I do want us to go through this because I think there's some good things that we can explain. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 new updates coming that are available now. So at some point, if it's just us playing, we need to play some more Warhammer. Chase, go ahead and take us through this list because I know there's a few you want to talk about.
This comes out in spring 27. It's
I think you're looking at the wrong part.
Oh yeah.
No, the actual Space Marine 2, that's available now. Like, these are updates that are here.
That was a mishap on my part. Yeah, so this is all available now. Wow.
Yeah. You were looking at the far end of Dawn of War 4 stuff.
Anyway, so we get a new operation called Purgation. So that's a new PvE operation, those are always welcome. We
never survive, but yeah.
Yeah, well, so then let's get a new weapon. This one I'm quite excited for. The Bolt Carbine is now becoming the sidearm, which I think it was just a primary for most classes to begin with.
It's like a heavier class bolt gun, isn't it?
Basically. Well, it's just so there's a bolt gun, and then the Bolt Carbine I think is just basically like the submachine gun version of it, so to speak. So it's like a slightly smaller, lighter one. I'm wondering if they're doing that because of, I don't know if it's because of the Tech Marine or not, which we still have to play that, by the way, at some point.
We do.
We've been
having too much fun with Ready or Not.
I know. We're getting new heroic weapon variants. So you're getting a heroic variant of the Power Axe, the Chainsword, and the Plasma Pistol. All the heroic weapon variants really do is they have some special effect that, adds, or that kind of adds to your arsenal, so to speak. Because we're talking about like Destiny and stuff like that. This one you can kind of get into builds and like level your characters in certain ways and and stuff. So
yeah,
some of these will work better for you than others in regards.
That's been half the fun. We'll build up something, go through a run, and go like, well, that was absolutely terrible. Let's try this again.
Right.
Do something different.
6 new armor pieces, purely cosmetic, in case you're wanting, certain pieces of armor. It's nice to make it's nice. That's the one thing they've captured really well in Space Marine 2 is the ability to kind of customize your characters and make them look a certain way like you would on the tabletop, which is awesome.
If I ever the kids have tried to get me to do it because they play a lot of Warhammer.
Oh, your wallet. Your wallet's screaming no.
My wallet's screaming no. My kids keep doing it, which I keep telling them, like, y'all need to actually pay for other things. But because of Space Marine 2, I've kind of come up with a color scheme and style that I like, that I stick with my different armors. And I'm like, oh, shit, I would probably transfer that over to actual Warhammer,
Yeah. So this is kind of cool. So there's a new area in the battle barge, which is the practice arena. So you could use this if there's like a particular enemy you struggle with or something. You could maybe like get some practice against them and try some different weapons or to see what actually like works against them really well. So that might be, or just to kind of learn their timings for like parrying them or dodging them.
That would be good. I think this would also be good for like we're talking about building new builds and try them out, like run it and see how it goes without having to get a bunch of people for an actual online match.
Siege mode update is, I'm not quite sure if that means we're finally getting a new map. That would be kind of cool. Because I think so far in Siege mode there was only one map, and I know they said that they're planning on adding more maps, so I wonder if this means we're getting our second map finally.
Hopefully.
And then Season Pass 2 content. If you're a fan of the Iron Hands, you're in luck because we're getting the chapter packs. So basically what that'll do is that'll make it to where you can make your Space Marine look like they'll add things that are specific to that chapter. For the Iron Hands, it's mostly going to be probably a lot of like cybernetic, implants and limbs and things of that nature, because that's what they've always kind of been about.
Yeah, that's what they're showing, because there's the part of this list of the 6 unique armor pieces, and it was showing like mechanical hands and legs and things like that for parts and helmets.
Yeah, they're this kind of is especially good because the Tech Marine just came out, and like it kind of suits in that regard because the Tech Marines would be a lot of the Iron Hands, would be kind of similar on the lines of Tech Marines.
Because Tech Marine's getting a champion skin. There's the Iron Hands Omniscion Axe skin that'll be there.
Yeah.
And then the Iron Hand Successor chapter cosmetics, which I think that was also part of like their graphic style as well as the other limbs and things.
Yep.
So that's a pretty good update coming out for Space Marine 2. Like they've actually supported the hell out of that game.
Yes, they have. They're doing
good on them.
Very well for that game.
Yeah. Then we had Warhammer 40k Darktide, the Skitarii update coming June 23rd. I'm guessing this is a different class for the title.
So they Skitarii, just in layman's terms, basically the Skitarii is kind of like the foot soldiers, kind of the layman of the Adeptus Mechanicus. So just kind of like your regular grunts. So that's the way of, because the problem is if you took an actual tech priest and put them in Darktide, like that dude would just be OP as hell. So
that's what it seems like Darktide feels like. It's like we're in Warhammer, but you're only playing as like the lower classes and trying to survive and do stuff, which is interesting.
Yeah. And the Skitarii are, they're just going to be kind of like your run-of-the-mill foot soldiers. It's good. Like, I'm happy because a lot of people will be happy about this, because when the last character they released, which was the Hive Scum, everybody thought they were getting AdMech, and we didn't. And so the people were a little bit like annoyed with that. They're like, oh, kind of. So now that they're giving the people what they want, and AdMech's coming in. So people will be happy.
All right. And this last one I'm curious about, and I have questions. Warhammer Age of Sigmar Deathmaster coming 2027 for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, so Steven will be happy, and PC. This is developed by Old School Games.
Well,
and it's published by .mu, which I always like a lot of the stuff they work with. It says it's a 2D action platformer where you play as a Skaven assassin, or we're trying to work within stealth. It looks like a giant rat person. Chase, what is this? I don't.
So
it looks great, but I don't know what it is.
So this is Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah, the Age of Sigmar, I think what they started calling it.
Yeah, so this is it's just still really good, by the way. Mm-hmm. It's really I've played some of the Warhammer Fantasy games and they're quite good. So the Skaven are basically rat people. Is basically the best way to describe them.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
You actually fight against them in the Warhammer Vermintide games. That's actually the enemy you fight against. It's just basically hordes of rat people that you're fighting against. But the Skaven are kind of an interesting faction because in the actual lore, so to speak, they number in like the billions, I think. But they all live underground because they're rats. But the people that live above ground, like only like the upper echelons of society, like in the Empire and stuff, actually know that they exist. And they basically don't tell anybody that they exist because the problem is it's one of those problems that if you don't see it, don't talk about it, don't hear it, maybe it just doesn't exist, because the problem is that if all those rat people ever decided to actually like work together, everybody would be screwed. The problem is that they're all too busy killing each other. And everybody,
it's like with the orcs. If they were any smarter, they would destroy everything.
Yeah, the rats are too busy all trying to work their way up to the top by murdering everybody else. And so what ends up happening is there's a lot of different clans and infighting and stuff. So what this is a rat assassin who's tired of taking orders, probably, and decides he's going to murder his way to the top. Respect.
It looks good. The animation I really like. It's got that really nice pixel hand-drawn style to it. So
yeah,
I'm curious on this one.
As soon as I saw .mu, I was like, you have my attention. Now I'm curious. Yeah. You had my curiosity. Yeah. Now you have my attention.
Yeah, especially if this actually gets a physical release. I'm definitely getting it. Go ahead, Steven.
I just wanted to point it out with all this Warhammer talk that in the same month, you can look it up on, there's Reddit posts and some articles about it, but they recently went up to Henry Cavill, who is still filming Highlander over in Europe, and they were like, how can we get some autographs from him? And they're like, oh, we know just what to do. So if I'm pronouncing it right, they gave him a box of Custodes.
Adeptus Custodes.
Yeah. Custodes. And if you look at the photo, he's the most giddy-looking smile you've ever seen on his face, where he's like, fuck yeah, a box of these. And then in return, he autographed a Space Marine helmet for the guys that gave that to him.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
But just seeing the look on his face, I was just like, yep. You can tell he really likes Warhammer.
Yeah, he's famously because obviously he's famously really big into Warhammer 40K stuff, and he specifically plays Custodes. That's his army that he likes to play.
I love the interview he was doing with someone, and somebody mentioned that, and then they were like, oh, what do you play? And he mentioned it, and they just completely went off script, and they just started nerding out talking about it, and everyone's like, what's going on? We're here to talk about this, and they're talking about a tabletop game.
Yeah, this is the guy who almost lost his role as Superman because he was playing World of Warcraft. I was like, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
So yeah, definitely, Chase, this is the Warhammer episode for you for sure.
Yeah,
I don't remember the last time we've got this much news from that. Yeah, and we trimmed out stuff. Like there was all kinds of tabletop shit too.
Yeah, because 11th edition is coming out. They still haven't given us. The only thing I was disappointed with is they talked about Total War Warhammer 40K, but they didn't actually give a release date. They were just talking about how Armageddon's going to be in there, because in 11th edition, that's where the big set piece for 11th edition is going to be, is about Armageddon.
Gotcha.
And stuff. The only other thing to add just real quick is that if there's another turn-based strategy game that's coming out called Chaos Gate Deathwatch. So if you like your XCOM and you like your Warhammer 40K, play Mechanicus 2 now, and then look for that game coming out in the future, because the Chaos Gate, what is it called? Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, I think. That's a really good game as well. That's also turn-based, kind of like your XCOM, where you travel around and do different missions.
Okay. I will have to look into that. So I there's no point in us doing a letter grade for this one. Chase, I'm pretty sure you're going to give it a good one regardless, and you're the only one here qualified enough to give it a letter grade. So let's just...
He gives it a 4. The Emperor.
For the Emperor, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, it was good. Overall, it was good. I mean, as for people who like Warhammer, both fantasy and 40K, you're going to enjoy this.
Awesome. My only complaint was that Speed Freaks trailer went on way too long.
Yeah, it was there for a while. Yeah.
I like fell asleep during it. And when I came out, I was like, it's still on. So
yeah, it was long. It was almost a 50-minute presentation. Like, it was a
46-minute presentation altogether, but I think 15 minutes was Speed Freaks.
Jesus. Yeah. Which is ironic to go that slow with it for something called Speed Freaks.
Hey man, they gotta get their orc voice actors gotta get their cut. They gotta get their buddies.
No kidding. All right, well, we'll go from their Speed Freaks taking that long to our speed run not taking nearly as long. All right, so Suda51 and Swery's Hotel Barcelona is coming to Switch and Switch 2. No word on when, though. But just as a reminder, this is a 2.5D action horror roguelite. Hopefully we'll get an actual physical edition, as we always like to champion, but we'll see. After that, Microsoft has decided to launch the Xbox Game Studios shop. Thanks you again, Stephen, for fixing my Xbox, because I can't remember to make it all capital every time.
Fan.
Because while we wait for games from them, we can apparently just get clothes and stuff and mugs and other things. Why not? And then lastly, for me, most excitedly, Digital Pinball Last Gladiators is coming out for Switch 1, 2, and PC sometime in 2026 from BXide, BEXIDE. Sure. Yeah. I was thinking it was like B-side, but I wasn't sure. But this is a revival of the 1995 Sega Saturn game of the same name by Kaze, and will feature 4 tables based around ancient warriors, which are Gladiators, Knight of the Roses, Dragon Showdown, and Warlock. No word on if this will get a proper physical edition release on either Switch 1 or Switch 2. And no, I do not have the original for Saturn yet. I'm still looking for it. It's on my list.
It won't really say Digital Pinball on it, because yes, I have it. It'll say Last Gladiators in big letters, though.
Okay.
And have 2 balls on it.
Yeah, it's still listed, I think, as Digital Pinball, because that was the original title, but I've seen the box.
Digital Pinball's small, but Last Gladiators is huge all over it.
Yep. So, all right, let's jump over to the big question. I know this has been a bit of a long show, but we still have that to talk about. All right, so with our earlier talk about Sony stuff, we wanted to talk a little bit about some of their upcoming things. So with Sony announcing their next State of Play for June 2nd, what titles, features, or other announcements do you think we will hear, or would you like to see? So, Stephen, we'll start with you on this one.
I think it being very close to Summer Game Fest, which they have their kind of presentation, is very interesting, because I feel a lot of things will be maybe teased at the State of Play, and then they'll tell you to tune into the big Summer Game Fest. And one of them is, I think they're finally ready to show off Final Fantasy Remake Part 3. And we'll know if it's going strictly multi-platform from the beginning. Maybe we'll know when it's coming out. I think that is the most possible in my mind is going to happen. The least possible, but I'd like to see is, I would like to see which Resident Evil is being remade next. They could easily fix 0 and make it 2 players. I wouldn't mind 5. I know 5 is Come now on. Like
give me 5 with that remake.
I know 5 for a lot of people is being called, like, it would have to be heavily remade, because now it's more culturally insensitive nowadays. So they'd have to change a lot more in it. Yeah, it's that way, Chase. Yes.
I want Code Veronica. I absolutely love that game.
Don't touch Code Veronica, because that's like one of the worst Resident Evils.
I absolutely love that game on Dreamcast. I played the hell out of. I was playing it the other day. I got it running again. I was like, "Oh, this is great!" Played through the whole opening and was going through.
Sorry. Anyway,
we don't plan this. He just apparently just naturally we hate.
I don't know how he picks them. I don't know.
I have such good memories of Code Veronica. I know it's not a perfect game, but it would be so much better after a remake, I think.
One of those games where I hate the character Steve.
Oh, yeah. No, he's annoying as shit. That's the whole point of it.
I have golden guns. Anyway.
Yeah, no, and they did that on purpose. He's very Canadian. That, I forgot about that.
Other than that, I hope to see pretty much anything from Capcom that's hopefully not Monster Hunter, because we've had enough of those directs.
Oh, come on.
But there's a big rumor that Vega's the next Street Fighter character, and if that happens, internet's gonna break.
Okay.
Yeah, especially because he's in the movie, so that makes sense.
Yeah. By the way, fun fact, which I have to look up now, the Street Fighter movie that's coming out later this year. I don't know if I told you guys, but if you look on YouTube for the Japanese dub, they got the original voice actors from the game, all of them.
That's funny.
So when Ken does the Dragon Punch, it's the original Ken from the arcade games you've been playing.
Nice. All right, I'll go next. So what I'm pretty sure we're going to see, we know we're going to see Wolverine, but I think we'll actually get a release date as well as a special edition system, or at least a controller, if not both. Because they did it for Spider-Man. It's one of their big pushes along with Marvel stuff. So I think Wolverine's going to get the same treatment. I don't know what style they'll do with that. It'd be kind of funny if they had different versions, if they had one based on the brown suit, or they had one based on the yellow and blue, or whatever they do with it. That'd be kind of funny.
I swear to God.
Huh?
I swear to God. And I will say this on the podcast right now. So if Chris watches this later and hears this, if for some reason they announce a special edition system and or a controller, and neither of them have claw marks, I will eat a pickle.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have claw marks. That's like the most annoying Wolverine
if
thing.
If you show them off and there's no claw marks, I'll eat a pickle, because I'll be like, it's the most like basic thing to do when you do a Wolverine themed anything is just have stupid claw marks.
Yeah, and I have to point this out. Are you saying that because you absolutely hate pickles?
Yes.
God damn it.
Yes.
Guess what I love?
I like them when they
pickles.
I like them when they're fresh and they're cucumbers. I hate them when they go bad and rotten and they're
I
pickles.
Like both.
I don't like
they're not bad and rotten. They're just pickled. Yeah. I like both. Whatever. I just find it funny. I was like, I guess he hates pickles and I love pickles. So there we go. Amanda gets me like big jars of pickles and I keep them in the fridge.
Eggnog?
Huh?
Do you like eggnog?
Yes.
Okay, we agree on
that.
Yeah,
remember we talked about it because we send each other messages when we get eggnog during the holiday season. We don't hate everything.
So people, there's a break in the action sometimes.
Yeah, we love doing this show. God, tell me you love doing this show. I don't know if that's... You've been doing it for a long time. I would hope so.
Love talking about Warhammer.
Right. What I would like to see is them reversing their non-PC announcements, but that's never going to happen. I just thought it'd be kind of funny. And Chase, what about you?
So for me, what do I think we're gonna see? I think we're gonna see.
What do you think, and what do you hope for? Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're gonna. You've both kind of taken it with. I think we're gonna see Final Fantasy. I think we're gonna see Wolverine.
Mind you, this is an hour-long state of play, so.
Yeah, I think we are gonna see something from Capcom. Don't know what it's gonna be, but I think it's definitely gonna be there. What I would like to see, I just decided to kind of take a shot out of the dark because
that's the point.
I haven't seen, because it hasn't came up in a while, and Shanoa kind of reminded me of it because she just finished the second game. But I would like to see. No, I would like to see a continuation of Deus Ex. I'd like to see that get revived because I played Human Revolution back in the day. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Mankind Divided, I didn't play, mostly because I think it came out when some other things came out. So I probably kind of skipped it. But she just recently finished Mankind Divided, and I was like, man, this game, I forgot about how much I actually enjoyed those games. Come on, Embracer.
Because I remember Human
so
Revolution.
Here, I've got a nice little send off for you guys. What is your most unrealistic expectation that they would do? And it can be outlandish. Mine would just be like that they announced like Gears of War trilogy, the rest of the trilogy.
Yeah, I'd already made the joke about the reversing their non-PC thing, which that was just kind of poking fun at it. But for like actual titles coming out, I would like to see them actually go back to some of their old titles that they have to bring back. Like I want a new Infamous. Yeah. Like it'll never happen probably, but like a new Infamous would be fantastic. Like I love those games.
Sucker Punch is enjoying too much success with the Ghost games right now.
Yeah, they're just gonna kind of have them do those.
Kate, what's your most unrealistic announcement they could do that you'd be like, this will never happen, so I'll say it right now.
Sony gives EA a bag of cash and Respawn makes Imperial Commando.
That would be out there.
It'd be out there, and honestly, if that actually happened, though, it would be the best studio to make it.
Yeah, this new title from Guerrilla Games and Respawn called Mech and Fall.
Yeah, but say how frustrated would we be if it's like, only on PlayStation exclusively Titanfall 3. Like, God damn it.
Hey man,
I guess I'm getting online on there now.
Yeah, I'd suck it up. I'd do it.
Me too. I just have to start paying for the online.
I'm pleased to announce State of Decay 3 is coming exclusively to PlayStation 5.
It's just completely canceled on Xbox. Oh man.
Even Xbox studios don't make things for Xbox anymore.
That's terrible. That's so terrible.
Oh man.
Man. All right.
That's been fun.
It has. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. All right, well, this has been a long but fun show, mostly focused on a lot of Warhammer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Chase, you got your birthday wish, man. You got so much Warhammer. And we found out
Warhammer, like it's been good. It's been good.
Yep. Hiccups.
We found more things that Steven and I love and hate at the same time, including pickles. But anyways, if you've been enjoying the show, if you're watching this over on YouTube and you want to hear the audio version of it, feel free to find that wherever you get your podcast by searching for Zenspath Entertainment Network. If you're listening to the show and you want to actually see our beautiful faces as we're talking, or actually what things we're holding up and talking about, you can go over to youtube.com/ZenspathCom. You can also find all of this stuff over at our website, Zenspath.com. We're working on different articles and other things we write on there on occasion, as well as listing all of the stuff for the show and the direct link to get to our Discord, where you can talk to us directly, which is the best way to actually reach out to us. If you're doing the audio version of the show, please feel free to leave a review on whatever podcast app you use. Let us know over on the Discord where you do that, because it's kind of hard to track those, but that way we can actually see what people are saying, and we might be able to shout you out on the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you like what you're hearing. And also leave us a comment. That helps us out a lot to kind of get more people to be able to watch the show. The algorithm gets us out there. Let us know what your thoughts of what the next PlayStation State of Play is going to be, or go back to any of the previous shows and comment about those big questions. We have one every week. So, all right. Well, this has been episode 221 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I've been your host, Jeremy Powers, joined again by Chase and Steven, and we're out. Peace.
For the Emperor.
For the Emperor.
For $2.95.
He's a cheapie. This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast by the staff at Zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.